Development Study Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative training and research. Our mission: empowering leaders, policymakers, and professionals with the tools they need to create lasting change. With customized training, dynamic research programs, and study exchanges on leadership, management, and other critical development topics, ADSC offers a platform for exchanging cutting-edge ideas and global best practices. We provide comprehensive services in research and consultancy, capacity building and training, education programs, publishing and knowledge sharing. Our esteemed faculty, composed of seasoned experts and researchers, ensures a learning experience that is insightful and practical. We specialize in policy development, implementation strategies, and monitoring and evaluation. At ADSC, learning is engaging and enjoyable. Our unique methodology includes talks, interactive exercises, games, video screenings, and lively seminar discussions, all in a comfortable and friendly environment. For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 039 2362. Visit our website www.adstudycenter.com to explore our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Study Center, rethinking development for Africa.
Afrobeats is a classic overnight success story, except it didn't happen overnight. I'm happy to be here. One of the key things about the Omniverse is that it's designed to go beyond an event and designed to be fully something that people can engage beyond the summit. The point being that Nigeria has so much to bring to the world in terms of these things, but we will be bringing fresh energy, fresh ideas, a fresh engagement, and we're obviously open to collaboration. But hip-hop, this never dies. What's the difference between Thor and Shango? Thor is approaching $50 billion in revenue. Shango's broke somewhere outside Lagos. And that's a lack of imagination on our part, Africa, and they're all Nigerian. So to be seen and to be noticed is very hard if you're not in the place where all the noise is being made.
Eko Atlantic has become Nigeria's most sought-after city for its high-end infrastructure, prestige, and well-planned city layout, as reflected in an 8-lane boulevard, about 13 internal bridges, underground cables, and green footprints defined by over 30,000 trees. Additionally, having a building in the city has become a trend among the so-called big boys, as was the case with Old Ikoyi, Victoria Garden City, popularly called VGC, Osborne Foreshore, and now Banana Island. In this special report, Bayo Olaoye states that this talk of "I belong" and the prestige mentality has also spread to the big firms. Before now, Kingsway and Ozumba Mbadiwe used to say that Victoria Island were the go-to locations for high-rise office buildings. These locations are home to iconic developments such as Kingsway Towers, Heritage Palace, Fanfa Towers, the Wings and the Waves, among others, making them Nigeria's equivalent of Silicon Valley. The Eko Atlantic City was modeled after the skyscraper district of Manhattan Island in New York City. It has become the new destination for big-ticket corporate firms which are building or relocating their new headquarters to the 10-square-kilometer city, rising off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean in Lagos. The city is attracting investment interests in both residential and commercial real estate, the latest being MTN Nigeria, preparing to build a new headquarters. MTN is coming on the heels of First Bank, which recently turned the turf to build a 40-floor corporate head office, making the city's most iconic development so far. Prior to this courageous and ambitious entry into Eco City by MTN, First Bank, Dangote Group, and the Embassy of the United States of America have taken positions there, developing a new head office and a diplomatic facility respectively. Much earlier, a co-development company had occupied the city as the developer of the Azuri Towers, offering both residential and commercial facilities for high clients and corporate bodies. Arkaland Property Investment and Oak Homes are also in the city, developing A&A Towers simultaneously. These are the residential developments that will be standing on the 22nd floor and the 33rd floors respectively. Other developments are the Pan-African Towers by Periwinkle Residences, Eco Pearl with Champagne Tower and Eco Pearl Black Tower, Amni Towers and Ani International Petroleum Development Company, and Louisville Towers by Total Energy Staff Cooperative and Multipurpose Society. Louisville will comprise 300 residential homes spread between 2 towers, a world-class sporting center and a club, retail outlets, and other facilities. It is designed to employ modern technology to achieve smart living and high standards. Eco Atlantic is an exclusive luxury city with superior infrastructure that appeals to the kind of investors we have seen in the city so far.
Dr. SOUQ A. Adedeji, whose leadership has significantly transformed Nigeria's tax administration, is a distinguished first-class graduate in accounting from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and he currently serves as the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
I firmly believe in the wisdom encapsulated in the statements. Revenue growth is the lifeblood of a national economy, providing means to fulfill essential duties to its citizens. These words capture the core principle that will guide us as we navigate the challenging terrain ahead, ensuring that our nation thrives and fulfills its obligations to its citizens. In our pursuit of a brighter fiscal future, we are determined to align ourselves with President Bola Tinubu's Extreme Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee. This collaboration will enable us to shape the prosperous fiscal landscape that will empower our nation's growth and development.
Born on January 8, 1978 in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, Nigeria, Dr. Adedeji is an accomplished accountant and public officer with extensive expertise in corporate taxation and public finance. His journey in public service began in 2011 when he was appointed as Commissioner for Finance in Oyo State. In that capacity, Adedeji introduced transformative financial reforms, most notably the establishment of the Treasury Single Account (TSA) to streamline government revenues and expenditures. In March 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Adedeji as Executive Secretary of the National Sugar Development Council (NSCDC). In this capacity, he founded the Nigeria Sugar Institute and spearheaded the Sugar Backward Integration Program, which sought to enhance local sugar production and reduce reliance on foreign imports. In June 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed Adedeji as Special Advisor on Revenue, and by September of that same year, he had ascended to the position of Executive Chairman of FIRS, Nigeria's leading tax authority responsible for the assessment, collection, and management of federal taxes.
the focus will be on these indirect taxes, so that as long as you consume, you have to pay. As long as you have interest on your investment, you have to pay. And this is echoing Mr. President's message that we are not going to tax the seed, but we are going to tax the fruit. The fruit is what we focus on. So all those things, when we have this holistic process, it will be captured, and that the vision is to have a progressive tax, that if you earn more, you pay more, and if you earn less, you will not pay.
Under his leadership, FIRS exceeded its 2023 revenue target of 11.55 trillion naira. As chairman of FIRS, Dr. Adedeji implemented a performance-based system aligning with the service's new slogan, simplifying tax, maximizing revenue.
Dr. SOUQ Adedeji has done incredibly well in transforming and reforming the tax processes and procedures in Nigeria. In a little over a year being at the helm of the affairs of the tax body in Nigeria, we have seen a significant improvement in revenue generation. His policy of not crumbling business with taxation is something that also needs to be applauded. SOUQ Adedeji philosophy is taxing fruits and not the seed, and taxing prosperity, not poverty. Because if you look at the fiscal landscape of Nigeria in the past 10 years, you find that businesses have struggled to live, and that has led to the exit of so many businesses from Nigeria. But with this new reform, we're saying that the businesses will profit from the reform processes, and that will mean more business for Nigeria. We will have a lot of foreign inflow in terms of foreign direct investment that will actually drive the process of economic growth for the country. And I think he has done so well, and he deserves a kudos, especially for taking the giant stride to restructure FRS for efficiency, for accountability, and for value for money.
He has also made the welfare of the staff a top priority, fostering a positive working environment that has brought smiles to the faces of FIRS employees nationwide. Supporters of the tax reform bills highlight several key benefits, harping on the need for streamlined tax processes that could reduce bureaucratic hurdles and foster an environment where businesses can thrive.
He has initiated a lot of reform which dovetail into the tax reform bills that is before the National Assembly. This initiative is to improve on the tax administration system in Nigeria with a view to improving on the collection systems that will be beneficial to every member of the Nigerian state. SOUQ, as is well known, has improved on a simplifying tax reform even within the federal landowner revenue, which in no means has improved on tax administration, and he celebrated essentially for the core initiative of the tax reform.
Under Dr. Adedeji's leadership, Nigeria's tax system has gone beyond mere policy adjustments. Its focus is on fostering sustainable growth and ensuring that the benefits of tax reforms reach both businesses and citizens.
So those that are attacking the bill, one, they are doing that in view of the formula they discovered, which may not be, will not augur well for them on the VAT allocation. And then secondly, they may be having the feeling that this law was just designed to favor Lagos State in the course of its own effort to become a state that has special status. Okay? It says so that will make it to be seen as if it is a country of its own, even though it's not up to the level of country, but it is higher than all other states in the country. Probably this may be the reason why they are agitating. The one that you can see clearly is on this issue of VAT. And then they have other suspicion. So that is another worry that I have. The issue of trust. Trust, what do some experts call trust deficit. Yes, will be promoted greatly by this if corrective measures are not taken. Graduation must not be defined. But then people have to go by what is happening now. As they go against it. Since now the graduation is about contribution of state that are producing these goods and services being consumed. So they have the right to just say that, oh, well, so now instead of 20%, it will now be 60%. And then you hear the government functionaries, including members of the committee, saying that no, that's not what they mean. They mean area of consumption. This 60% graduation is about consumption area, not location of the headquarters of company that produce the good or services. You should have defined that in the law.
Contributing to long-term national development, Dr. SOUQ A. Adedeji's career is a testament of his unwavering commitment to improving Nigeria's financial systems and enhancing revenue generation, showcasing his exceptional expertise in corporate and public finance.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
A very good morning to you and welcome to the news update here on SOUQ News Television. We're reaching you live from our studios in Lagos. I am Grace Komalafe. Starting the news this morning, President Bola Tinubu has officially accepted the retirement of Professor Mahmood Yakubu as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, after the completion of his second and final term in office. The president, while thanking Yakubu for his decade-long service in deepening Nigeria's democracy, conferred on him the national honor of Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON. Following the handover ceremony on Tuesday, Yakubu transferred leadership to May Agbamuche Mbu, the most senior national commissioner who now serves as acting chairman pending the appointment of a substantive successor. Tinubu is expected to present a list of nominees for the position to the Council of State on Thursday for consideration, with former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan among those expected to advise on the selection. Professor Yakubu's tenure marked significant reforms in Nigeria's electoral process, including the introduction of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, the INEC result viewing portal, IREV, and the expansion of polling units across the country to improve access for voters. The federal government plans to refinance its 6.7 trillion naira debt to ease Nigeria's rising debt service burden and reduce borrowing costs, according to Wale Edom, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. Speaking at the 55th Annual Conference of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria in Abuja, Edom explained that the refinancing plan is part of a wider fiscal strategy under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's reform agenda. He said the move aimed to strengthen public finances, attract private investment, and support inclusive economic growth. The minister added that Treasury bill rates have surged from 8% in 2023 to nearly 24% in 2025, putting pressure on government spending and limiting funds for essential projects. Edom noted that alongside refinancing, the government is implementing several reforms to improve revenue and expenditure efficiency. These include expanding the tax base through a new tax reform law, automating revenue collection, and promoting private sector participation in infrastructure projects such as the Highway Development and Management Initiative and Project Bridge. President Tinubu, represented by the Accountant General of the Federation, Shamsuddin Babatunde Ogunjimi, reaffirmed his administration's commitment to fiscal stability, describing the unification of foreign exchange rates and tax reforms as a vital step towards restoring investor confidence and ensuring sustainable economic recovery. Still in the news, the African Development Bank will disburse $500 million to Nigeria before the end of 2025 as part of its $1 billion budget support plan to ease the effect of economic reforms. AFDB Executive Director Dr. Bode Oyetunde confirmed the plan during the Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja, saying board approval is expected before the year end. He explained that the fund would strengthen fiscal management, governance, and power sector reform to rebuild investor confidence and stabilize the economy. The new tranche follows an earlier $500 million released in 2024 under the same facility to help Nigeria sustain its post-subsidy and exchange rate reforms. Still with the government, the federal government has begun the fourth phase of the cement power project, expected to add 7,000 megawatts to Nigeria's national grid and stabilize electricity supply across the country. Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, said the move follows the Presidential Power Initiative, which earlier generated an additional 700 megawatts. Adelabu described estimated billing as unfair to consumers and announced plans for nationwide metering to ensure transparency and accountability. He added that the government is also expanding grid and off-grid solar infrastructure to improve access to clean energy and boost productivity in rural areas under the Mission 300 initiative. Moving on, the federal government has inaugurated the Ministerial Project Approval Board to strengthen transparency, accountability, and efficiency in education sector infrastructure. The new framework allows the Ministry of Education and its parastatals to approve projects worth up to 20 billion naira, while higher value projects will require Federal Executive Council approval. Education Minister Tunji Alausa said the board will accelerate value-driven public-private partnership projects, improve governance, and attract private investment into education. The first project under the system, a public-private partnership for facilitating facilities at Federal Government College, Kano, was presented at the inauguration. And that's the news this morning. We say many thanks for watching. Do well to follow us on our social media platforms at SOUQ News Television. Coming up next is SOUQ Business Landscape. My name is Grace Komalafe. Have a good morning.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
The bank was totally gone, so there was nothing to say they had. But we still approached them and said we would like to take over this bank. The journey since 1997 has been one thing or the other, and I'm happy that many years down the line we look back and we're happy that we're audacious and bold to make them move at the time. That's why today in UBA, perseverance, resilience is a core virtue, a core attribute, a core value of ours, because we apply that early on in this journey. So that's how it all started.
Leadership, according to Tom Peters, entails vision, enthusiasm, trust, verve, passion, and consistency. If there's one man who graciously combines these virtues, the name Tony Elumelu comes to mind.
They say that success to a large extent is dependent on being at the right place at the right time. I say to people, my elder brother, who is 7 years older than me, he doesn't have gray hair. I have gray hair. My gray hair started from the merger, because making it work, serving your customers, making sure that everyone in the universe or the institution, which was 428 branches at the time, that it was same level of service across board. Customers of standard trust bank that were used to a certain level of service delivery, you will not want them to come to the new institution and have a drop.
From the womb of time, Tony Elumelu has been an embodiment of nobility and excellence. He remains one of the flying eagles and shining eggheads of the banking industry. The life and times of Tony is an inspiring tale. He is one Nigeria who is unmoved by material wealth and self-aggrandizement. Tony's noble qualities were on from his humble background. Growing up with 4 siblings in Jos Plateau State, the cowboy of the banking industry who hails from Anocha North local government area of Delta State, believed in the democratization of law combined with hard work. He began his career as a copier salesman. The Ambrose Ali University graduate of economics also bagged a master's degree in economics from the University of Lagos. In 2019, he received an honorary Doctor of Business degree from Bayero University, Kano.
Going to university, I just thought I wanted to be a businessman because my mom's brother, my mom and his brother were just 2 of them. So my uncle was a businessman, in Nigeria, and was quite successful at the time. And I was influenced. I thought he was very rich, and also I wanted to be a businessman, but not knowing whether just a businessman, you know what I mean? Because he was described then as a businessman. And but in university, that was why I read economics, just to see. But in university, I got more enlightened because I knew more how things operated. And first degree, I was saying I just wanted a good job that would give me the start. But when I came to do my master's at Unilag, being in urban or Unilag, a lot happening at the time. And that was the era of new generation banks, a lot happening. Our friends, in banking, our friends, some got jobs in some banks. And so that's all of us who were doing masters at the time. I did masters in economics. Who were doing masters at the time, we just became interested and fascinated. We were interested in working in a bank. New generation bank, not old generation bank, not. And so that was how it all started. And we started applying for jobs in our banks. And I got, yes, at the master's level, it was clear I wanted to work in a bank. And yes, that was started. As in then, Santana was a posh car. So they oppressed us in school, I must say. And then we too wanted to become the big boys in future with the brochures, suspenders, white shirt, dark suits, etc.
The growth and development of any institution is determined by the quality of its leadership. For Tony Elumelu, his sterling performance and leadership scorecard in the banking industry remains a reference point. He rose quickly to become the youngest bank branch manager at Allstate Trust Bank at the age of 36. He formed a coalition to acquire a distressed financial institution, Crystal Bank, and became its CEO. an action that earned him and his circle of peers the nickname the Cowboys of Banking.
In 1997, some of us came together and acquired a distressed financial institution. We acquired this financial institution, we turned it around, we set targets for ourselves, strategic plans, targets, we have first year strategic intent, we want to make it a viable financial services company. Second year intent, we want to become a leading financial services group on the continent. And third financial intent is a strategic intent to become a player in the global financial arena. As we all know, there's so much private global capital seeking the right investment destination. All it takes is for a leadership to show that this country is set for business and people come there. We want to move into an economy where they can invest freely as well as move their monies out when it comes for time for dividend and remittances and repatriation of a dividend. So I will continue to invest because of the signal that we see in the market, because of certain fundamentals that are right.
He audaciously led the largest merger in Africa between United Bank of Africa and Standard Trust Bank. Tony's fancy for red tie remains emblem of his appearance. He retired as CEO of United Bank for Africa in 2010. He is presently the chairman of Heirs Holdings, the United Bank for Africa, Transcorp, and founder of the Tony Elumelu Foundation.
I can't express how excited I am in words to be here and to be selected among the 1,000.
It's the opportunity for me to realize my dreams. So I go into business and start to make my way.
It challenges you to do things you never thought you could do.
Maybe if you'd have gone to a private school or an MBA, you must have paid a lot to get this kind of, enlightenment.
Ça me fait plaisir de voir des frères et sœurs qui veulent se rencontrer, se connaître, les partager et créer un réseau, peut-être le plus grand réseau africain.
Venho de Cabo Verde.
Je suis tunisien.
Je viens de la République du Bénin.
I'm from Edo State, Nigeria.
I'm from Ghana.
Zimbabwe.
Sudan.
From Rwanda.
Gabon.
Uganda.
Senegal.
Niger. I'm from the Gambia.
Welcome and thank you for coming to Lagos. I'd like to start by congratulating all of you. You have done well.
Most entrepreneurs are creative people. They have creative mindset. They're innovative. Those who dare to dream and who dare to innovate in Africa should have the opportunity to prove their innovation. And that is why we have $10,000 for these 10,000 Africans to help prove their concept and prepare them for bigger scale financial support. We don't give because we see it as a moral burden to just give charity. But we want to give people because we want to uplift them. We want them to be self-reliant. We want them to be fishermen. We want them to do what we are doing. We want them to prosper in life, become successful.
Tony made a tremendous contribution to giving back to the society. His selfless efforts and huge investment into humanity through the Tony Elumelu Foundation is widely adjured as the leading philanthropy empowering a new generation of African entrepreneurs, driving poverty eradication, catalyzing job creation across all 54 African countries, and increasing women economic empowerment. Since the launch of the entrepreneurship program in 2015, the foundation has trained over 1.5 million young Africans on its digital hub. Tony, the Nigerian economist, entrepreneur and philanthropist, holds the Nigerian National Honors, the Commander of the Order of Nigeria, CON, a member of the Order of the Federal Republic, MFR. He has been responsible for creating business that are critical to Africa's economic development. He is a proponent of Africa capitalism, an economic philosophy which advocates for the private sector's commitment to Africa's development through long-term investment in strategic sectors of the economy that drive economic prosperity and social wealth award. He was awarded the Daily Times the Nigerian Man of the Year in 2016 He was honored with the National Productivity Order of Merit Award in 2019. He is also on the list of Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People of 2020. On October 11, 2022, Elumelu received the National Honor of Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Tony, as a staunch professional and chairman of Foremost Bank, may understandably runs a busy daily schedule like that of a bee, but he balances the equation with creating time for sports. His love for lawn tennis and football stands undeniable.
My good workout favorites, I think I would say that I like to jog on the sport. I love yoga, as you said. Yeah. But these days I'm trying to get in the groove of planking.
Tony is not just a champion in the backyard. He equally balances the equation when it comes to family life.
For me, as a family man, though, I try to make sure I balance things. I try to make sure my family side did not suffer. In that process, I was also growing a family, having my kids and co. So, but everything came together.
Tony is happily married to Awele Vivian Elumelu, who is the chairperson of Harvey Medical Practice Limited. Vivian also oversees the healthcare investment of US Holdings. She holds a Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery degree from the University of Benin. The marriage was consummated in 1993 and blessed with 7 children. According to Forbes' list, Tony is among the top 10 richest entrepreneurs in Nigeria with a net worth estimated at $1 billion.
We don't just preach. We don't just theorize, we practice.
Tony has stooped to conquer not just in the banking industry, but in life. The strides of this living legend, popularly referred to as the Lion of Africa's financial industry, remains iconic.
So entrepreneurs who are listening, quick one, short one, straight to the point. Entrepreneurship is a long-term journey. Stop seeing it as a short-term goal. Long-term journey. Great companies, great and accomplished entrepreneurs did not make it in 1 year. They didn't make it in 3 years. It's a long-term journey. So moving, dare to dream, implement your dream, and stay focused.
Known as the father of African literature, Chinua Achebe was born on the 16th of November 1930 in Ogidi, now Anambra State, eastern Nigeria. He was born to Isaiah Okafor Achebe, a teacher and an evangelist, and Janet Anenichi Iluebunam, a vegetable farmer. Achebe has reshaped the global understanding of African identity through the power of storytelling. Raised during the twilight of colonial rule, Achebe's education was steeped in both Igbo tradition and the Western values of post-colonial Christianity. As a student at the University of Ibadan, he became fiercely critical of how Africa was portrayed in Western literature. Achebe believed that Western literature often painted Africa as a dark and primitive continent, but he sought to tell the African people's lens. In 1958, Achebe's groundbreaking novel Things Fall Apart shattered colonial narratives through the tragic story of Okonkwo, an Igbo warrior. Achebe illuminated the complexities of African culture and the devastating effects of European colonization. Things Fall Apart became more than just a novel. It became a symbol of African resistance against the oppressive narratives of colonialism. Achebe was not just a writer. He was a passionate advocate for African self-determination, and his political activism made him a critical voice in the post-colonial era. Even after a life marked by personal and political struggles, including a car accident that left him partially paralyzed, Achebe continued to inspire. He taught at Bard College and later Brown University, where his influence reached new generations of writers and thinkers. He was married to Christiana Chinwe Okoli, and they had 4 children. Sadly, he died in March 2013 at the age of 82. Chinua Achebe's legacy endures in his novels, his essays, and in the countless voices of African writers who follow in his footsteps. He gave us a voice, a story, and a vision of Africa that is ours to share.
Nigerian leather industry has a storied history, particularly in the northern parts of the country, where the art of leather farming and crafting has been perfected over centuries. Traditionally, leather was used primarily for functional items like sandals, bags, and saddles, with little emphasis on fashion. However, the narrative has changed drastically in recent years, as Nigerian leather has evolved from a utilitarian product to a symbol of luxury and high fashion. Here is a special report by Bayo Olaoye. The turning point for Nigerian leather came as local designers began to recognize its potential beyond traditional uses. They started to experiment with new designs, creating products that appeal to the modern consumer while maintaining the heritage of craftsmanship. The result has been a wave of leather products that are not only functional but also stylish and desirable on the global stage. One of the key factors driving the revolution is the exceptional quality of Nigerian leather. Known for its durability and unique texture, Nigerian leather, particularly from goats and cattle, has become highly sought after by fashion houses both within and outside Africa. This demand has encouraged local artisans to up their game, focusing on quality control and finishing techniques to meet international standards. Moreover, Nigerian leather products have benefited from the global trend towards sustainable and ethically produced goods. Consumers are increasingly turning away from massively produced items in favor of the handcrafted, sustainable alternatives. Nigerian leather, made using traditional methods with minimal environmental impact, fits perfectly into this narrative. This has opened up markets for Nigerian leather goods, particularly in Europe and North America, where there is a growing appreciation for products with a story and a conscience. The rise of Nigerian leather on the fashion scene is also closely tied to the country's booming creative industry. Fashion designers, many of whom had gained international recognition, are incorporating leather into their collections and innovative ways. From sleek handbags and bespoke shoes to stylish jackets and accessories, the Nigerian leather is becoming a staple in high fashion. This trend is not only boosting the profile of Nigerian fashion, but also creating new opportunities for economic growth. The leather industry, once dominated by small-scale craftsmen, is now attracting significant investment. Entrepreneurs are setting up modern tannery and workshops, creating jobs and fostering skills development in the process. This industrialization of leather product is helping to formalize what was once an informal sector, leading to better working conditions and high incomes for artisans. However, the success of Nigerian leather market did not emerge without challenges. The industry still faces issues related to infrastructure, access to finance, and competition from imported goods. Additionally, there is the need for more investment in technology and innovation to further enhance the quality of leather products and make them more competitive in the global market. Despite these challenges, the future of Nigerian leather products looks bright. There is a growing recognition of the value of locally produced leather goods, both within Nigeria and globally. This is evident in the increasing number of fashion shows and trade fairs dedicated to promoting Nigerian leather products, as well as the rising demand from international buyers. The evolution of Nigerian leather from a utilitarian material to a symbol of high fashion is a testament to the creativity and resilience of the Nigerian artisans. It reflects the broader trend in the global fashion industry towards sustainability and craftsmanship. As the world continues to embrace African fashion, Nigerian leather is poised to become a major player on the international stage, offering a unique blend of tradition, quality, and style. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an exciting new chapter for Nigerian leather.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizens. Oh, we see something. This is SOUQ business landscape. The economy is moving. Are you moving with it? Welcome to SOUQ Business Landscape. Now, we cut through the complexities of the market, the hurdles of the trade, and the challenges of infrastructure to bring you clarity that you need to succeed. The time for business as usual is over. SOUQ starts now. I am Olumide Shokoya. Of course, I'm not the only one here. I have Chooks John Rogers. Chooks, welcome to SOUQ Business Landscape.
Thank you. Good morning, Olumide. It's always a pleasure being on this table with you.
Yes, it always is. Yes, so let me intimate you into what is happening. Coming up shortly on SOUQ Business Landscape, the central bank draws the line on rogue POS operators. Yes. Nigeria stock market keeps rising as insurance stocks steal the spotlight. And the government powers up a $2 billion broadband expansion. Plus, solar imports surged past 240 billion naira in just 6 months. Kenya dumps dollar to save millions. And of course, Trump is always in the news. Trump ignites a new trade storm with a 25% tariff on heavy trucks. Market, money, momentum decoded. This is SOUQ Business Landscape. Stay informed. Don't forget, please comment, like, and share on our YouTube page at SOUQ News TV. We'll be right back. Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizens. Oh, we see something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape. Welcome back to SOUQ Business Landscape. Don't forget, comment, like, and share on SOUQ News TV. We are live right now on YouTube. Now, let's start with the first story. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has rolled out new restrictions governing who can operate as point of sale, that is POS agents, under its revised guidelines for operations of agent banking in Nigeria. Now, under the new framework, individuals with unresolved debt, listed banks, verification numbers, BVNs, or records of financial misconduct are now barred from participating in the fast-growing agent banking sector. Now, the guidelines released on October 6, 2025, seek to strengthen due diligence and curb fraud in the system. The CBN said the move reflects its commitment to improving trust, reducing financial risk, and ensuring that only credible operators manage last-mile banking services that are central to Nigeria's financial inclusion. Chooks, how would barring blacklisted individuals reshape trust and transparency in the POS sector? Or what is this CBN planning to do? Because whether we like it or not, POS, at the time POS agents or operators came in, they saved Nigerians a whole lot of stress. I mean, imagine you going to the bank and you just want to withdraw just 2,000 naira or 5,000 naira. You see a long queue. Now, with the advent of POS, all you have to do is just pay 100 naira. That is for 5,000, and maybe 200 for 10,000, and the rest goes up. But now they are saying they are going to blacklist some, they're going to register, they're going to do this. They're trying to maintain some form of decorum. What do you think this would actually bring about some form of trust in the minds of people?
Well, trust in the system is always an ongoing subject because you have to keep working on it. Every single season, you keep working on it. For the POS operators, the initial plan, the initial problem that made the POS to come up has been defeated because right now, POS came majorly for the unbanked. Not just the last mile. It came majorly for the unbanked to be able to cater to that sector of the economy that could not directly reach the bank or have no access to bank account. Those in localities, those that find it difficult to access ATMs. Now, we've seen that gradually over time with what happened to us before the last administration left, where we had to start looking for our own money. We're now buying Naira. Time have switched. Now, POS have become not just, they've become a normal banking institution, part of the banking institution. And people have taken advantage of it. Another issue is that they've lost their name. Point of sale, that's what it's supposed to be. Point of sale agent. So I'm transacting business. I'm buying, I'm selling, I'm offering services. So I don't need to pay in cash. I pay via POS, or I get change via POS. Now it has gone into them offering services of giving the community cash. The question now comes again. Dear CBN, POS was point of sale. POS was one of the major avenues of going cashless. But right now, POS is now one of the major conduct of putting cash back into the society. Because both those in the banking system and those within that particular sector have seen that POS is also an avenue of making money. So that is where the drive is. More operators, more services, a revenue service, and at the end of the day, you're making money. Now, see, CBN needs to, this is where we found ourselves because of the peculiar issues that happen to us over time. Okay. Now, CBN is saying, how can we offer better services for the last mile of getting cash and service operational? How can we get unscrupulous human beings away from the system? Because we've also seen a rapid rise in fraud cases because of easy access to POS machines. That was not before. There used to be a stringent regulation. Only businesses could get POS at a point in time. Before we now started having agents around, only businesses. Then only licensed banks could license people to be agents at specific locations. We've gone past all these stages to where we are right now, where at every gate of every estate, every corner, every front bar entrance, there is somebody operating a POS machine. Now, how can we bring sanity? That is where CBN is coming in right now. For the guidelines that were put in, if you have an unresolved debt, you are owing a bank or you are owing any of these people except the loan sharks, you will be marked and said, no, you can't operate the POS machine because there is some question mark. If you are involved in any kind of fraudulent activity, yes. Also, we should start having clearance from banks because each single POS operator should be registered to a bank, not just a microfinance bank, to a bank, because these are supposed to be each business entities. The administration came up with, if you remember, a kind of tax and registration for POS operators. That is where we are right now. But we need to see more. We also need to gradually start rolling back, and ask, what's it called, these particular banks, what happened to your ATMs?
Now, so I'm thinking also, now, you said that they came in as point of sales. Yes, I remember that when you go to different supermarkets and all that, you know, you ask them, do you have POS? Can I pay with my card? And that was how it was. So how can we bring that? And of course, the POS saw a need. What was the need? People were finding it hard to access cash from the bank ATMs. So that was that need. That was that hole that the POS saw, and they came in through that hole. So now, I mean, it just cost you 100 naira to get cash within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, rather than spending 30 minutes, whereby someone would now come and boycott the line, and you know the whole place goes rowdy. Or maybe when it gets to your turn, that is when you will see on the screen, unable to dispense cash. So how can we now go back? How can we bring the minds of the people, the trust in banks, that you can actually go to the bank and withdraw, and it's safer?
Definitely safer
Than you going to a POS operator.
Okay. Let's also take our mind back. In the era of Sanusi, he had the sledgehammer, and he made sure the banks were conforming. Your POS machines needed to work. They were working because he made sure that there were penalties to be paid if your services were not top-notch. We need to go back to that era. It's enforcement. There are ATM machines scattered all over the place. They need to work. They are not there for art galleries. They should be made to work. It's difficult when you step out. If you go to the market, let's say you go to any major Nigerian market, there are POS operators for payment for what you buy. We need to hold less cash. The lesser cash we hold, the better for the economy. Because right now we are thinking of, CBN is also going around having town hall meetings and trying to see how people can handle cash better, clean your cash. All this will be out of CBN budget if we go cashless the more. I don't need to hold cash to enter a bus. There are Lagos buses right now that I just need to swipe my card. The Cowrie card is there.
That's free the BRT.
Free advert for you.
What about the yellow buses?
The yellow buses can do the same thing. There are smaller buses right now that still have that, what's it called? That swiping machine.
Yes.
So the yellow buses can do the same thing. But now the problem now is how do we standardize pricing? These are a whole lot of things that will come to play. If pricing is standardized, then good and fine. You know that if I'm going from point A to point B, it is this price. So just swipe and you go your way. We need to start pushing going cashless.
What about the
political will is just a major.
Because whether we like it or not, the POS agents, they are catering for the unbanked.
Yes, they are.
So how do we get the unbanked back into the banking system? Because as long as we have the unbanked, the POS operators will keep making money.
That's another question we need to ask the banks. Dear banks, who are these people you are giving this POS to? Because one way or the other, let's leave with official channels, the banks are also making money off the POS people.
Yes.
You ask yourself directly, where are they getting those cash from? Who are the major people that own a large chunk of these POS people? There are still people within the banking sector. One person just operates a business and he has 12, 15 POS machines all around the place. Why? Because the banks are not offering the services they should. Now, it's easy to cater for the rich. It's very easy. He doesn't need to move around taking cash 10 times in a day. But the man that is selling tomatoes needs to transact on a regular.
The laborers.
He needs to go buy a basket, come, sell, go, buy again. How can we attend to this market and sectors cashlessly? This is what we should be talking about right now. If we leave this country and go to not far, Kenya, Rwanda, they have fintechs that are catering to all this kind of transactions. And people don't have to go looking for cash every single time. That way, we'll have less issues of people swiping your cards and taking your information. We have issues of criminal elements having access to POS machines and draining your account on the go. We have less issues of one chance using POS. For those that don't understand, those are robbers that rob people on the road. So these are things that we need to deal with. Yes, CBN has, we should leave the symptoms and treat the real issue.
You know, I still try to grapple how we have unbanked, yet we are, I think, maybe it might not be 100%, but at least 60 to 70% of Nigerians have BVN. So why do we have a larger chunk of unbanked?
You can't force me to put my money in the bank.
Wow.
But you can tell me if I don't have BVN, I can't send my child to school. That you can do. But you can't tell me I must put my money in the bank. But now that now tells, okay, now it's the bank's responsibility to make me want to put my money in the bank. So are they reaching out to the unbanked the way they should? Now, is it the big banks that should even reach out to me? Or is it the small bank that should reach out
or
to
the
my
microfinance?
Mom? Yes, my mom in the village. So these are the issues. Now, when you are struggling to make money, they don't see you. But once they see that, okay, this person has a potential and he has, but then they now come for you. Just like some people will tell you, go and invest into a community. Let them see that there are business opportunities of making a living. They will come back and put their money in that bank. So the smaller banks within the small communities should reach out to people and make them want to open accounts with them. Then we also have the cultural and the religious issues. There are parts of this country that will tell you, no, my religion will not let me bank with you or take a loan from you because of your interest kind of banking. We offer interestless, in quote, kind of banking. So it now depends what activity, what package do you have to cater for this sector of communities, for this sector of religions. So we have those kind of banks. They should leave their Lagos office, leave those Abuja office, get into the street, and get people onto their banks.
Now, you talked about, okay, now, I don't want us to just castigate the POS operators, because whether we like it or not, they are also a part of the labor force.
They are serving a purpose.
They're serving a purpose. So do you think that all these guidelines, all these rules that might seem harsh might stifle their business?
Definitely, it won't. No. Well, the rules are not that harsh. The rules are majorly to protect both the person collecting and the POS person too. But whatever strict regulations we see, they should have been there from the onset. They should have been there from the onset. I still remember very well, it was not easy for you to just apply and get a POS when it started. There had to be, there were levels of clarification, levels of identification, levels of security check before a machine was given to you, unlike what it is right now.
So that means the banks might be complicit of this.
They are the ones that gave it out in the first place, not us, not media houses. So we need those identification well and properly checked.
So that means the CBN should even be monitoring these banks more
more than the end bit. That's why I was saying we should leave the symptoms and treat the real issue. The CBN should come hard on the banks. But that's another issue. For a very long time, since after Sanusi, we've not really seen the CBN telling the banks to sit up. We've not seen any kind of shake-up, apart from when it comes to board of directors, movement and all that.
Capitalization they have.
Capitalization is just telling them to, hey, get bigger so that the economy can grow faster. Aside that, where are we?
Now, you mentioned something about us going cashless. Do you think that the CBN should also put a cap on the daily transaction for POS operators?
Well, they've put a cap for daily transaction for me and you. They've tried putting a cap for POS. But now, the question we should now ask ourselves is, there are POS operators in large capital markets. There are POS operators in places where large sum of businesses are done on daily basis. We should now ask ourselves this question. For people like, let's say, in Alaba market, for people like, let's say, in the auto market, why should they be carrying cash? Why can't we have the banks, okay, if the banks think that, okay, this customer might not walk into our office, let the banks be the ones to license some particular agents to do cashless transactions for these people, for these customers. We've gone to places where, we've gone to markets where the person selling said, nah, man, I want to see my cash.
Yes.
And the person that wants to pay said, this is my cash. Let's have this trust broken down whereby, okay, he knows, she knows that, okay, this POS person is from this bank and they are trustworthy. So the way they also try to reach out to us through their sensitization and their advice, let's also reach out to markets people. You don't need to come to the market with 50 million, 10 billion, 500,000, even 100,000. There is a POS person that can handle that transaction for you. That risk is taken away.
What about the issue of network, interconnectivity? That's another issue. I think that's one of the issues that discourages people. Some people, you have some people who will tell you they don't do online banking. My mom is part of it. She prefers going to the bank, doing a transfer right at the bank, but using it on her phone, any other thing, or USSD sheet. There are people like that who
There are people.
I think they fell victim.
Yes, it's still more of sensitization. It's still more of sensitization. Nigeria is one of, for those that are wondering, Nigeria is one of those countries that when it comes to banking, fintech, we are up there. We are way, way up there, even more than a lot of European countries. That is where we are. So for the issues that we see around here, don't think that maybe some European countries you can just go and do transactions and it's gone. No, it's not done that way. So we are fortunate to be there right now, but can we get better? Definitely. It still boils down to sensitization, sensitization. Now, for network issues, the bank have options. You can do USSD, but how many people know about the USSD platforms, codes, and all that? These are things that can be done, that you might not even require data to do it. So the POS operators should go beyond just take cash, collect 100 naira, collect 200 naira, collect 500 naira, or if you are taking large sums of money, they collect based on how much. They should go beyond that to being able to assist people to perform transactions without taking or receiving cash.
Now, I just remembered the USSD, there was a time the network operators and the bank, and now it has been settled. So now any USSD you do now goes directly to the network operator.
You pay 6 point something naira. Whether it feels or it doesn't, whether it goes through, you pay 6 point something naira.
We need, how can we, because if we truly, truly want to go cashless, networks have to be running, the banks have to be up and doing, if we truly want to go cashless.
Yes, it's possible. It's very possible. It's still the willpower. Are we moving there? Yes. Yes, we are.
All right, so let's move on to the next story for today. Now, let's take another story. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be right back.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen before we see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back to SOUQ Business Landscape. Let's go into the capital market. The Nigerian exchange, NGX, extended its bullish momentum on Tuesday, gaining 92 billion naira amid renewed investor interest in insurance stocks rather than strengthening overall market performance. Now, market capitalization rose to 92 trillion naira, while all-share index advanced by 172.48 points or 0.12% at the close and closed at 144,995.26. The latest surge pushed the market's week-to-date gain to 1.84%, its 4-week rise to 4.02%, and its year-to-date growth to an impressive 40.87%, underscoring sustained investor confidence. Analysts attribute the performance to increased activity in the insurance sector, which has continued to attract positive sentiment in the recent session. Trading data revealed that investors exchanged 507.4 million shares valued at 24.28 billion naira across 30,665 deals. Now, this represents a 2% decline in trading volume, a significant 67% increase in turnover, and a 14% reduction in the number of deals compared to Monday's session. Chucks, what's fueling investors' confidence? It seems to be in the insurance sector.
Yeah, definitely, and it's in preparation of what's coming. So for those that are not aware, we are having the tax regime kick-off next year.
Okay.
We've had the insurance bill that has already gone and is working, is passed. So these are things that will definitely affect the markets. We have a budget that both being financed by oil, non-oil, and also borrowing. Let's not leave that out. And we are having the information is being given to us on daily basis that is working up there. Has it gotten to we down here? That is left for you to talk about. But now we have an economy that on the regular, on every day, we are being told is working, is working, is working. So what does this kind of narrative do? It fuels investment. It fuels confidence, which is what we want in the first place. What industry has gotten the larger chunk of this? Insurance. It doesn't mean that their capitalization is bigger than other sectors. No. But right now, we have an insurance sector that is going to boom. Mind you, this is not financial advice. But we have an insurance sector that's going to boom because it's not like what it used to be before. A lot of quoted insurance companies are doing exceedingly well thanks to the new laws that have passed and the new act that has come to play and what is going to start happening next year. With time, insurance is going to be more of a normal day life. We're not just going to see it as one of those things you take to pass police checkpoints because that's for car insurance. It's going to be a normal day life. Why am I saying this? For those that are also looking forward to paying tax, insurance is going to be a safe haven for tax. So we're going to see more people getting into it. Let's give you a rundown. Now, for those that are wondering, Mansard had a 7.3% day change. 1 day change.
7.3%.
7.3. That is huge.
Huge, yes.
Corners had 9.9.
9.9.
Consolidated Hallmark had 9.5. International Energies Insurance had 8.8. Wapik Coronation had 4.7. This is all coming from one sector. If we go back like 2-3 months ago, a lot of these insurance companies, their capitalization was less than 50% of what it is now. So imagine what the growth has been to this particular place. Is it going to grow bigger? It's going to grow way, way bigger than this because a lot of people will get to see that, okay, good, this is where it's going to happen. A lot of businesses will also get to lump in. We saw just less than 2 months ago where we had the law for recapitalization of insurance companies. It's going to happen again because we need insurance companies that will be able to insure major, huge capital projects in Nigeria and not going for foreign insurance companies for those kind of insurance coverage. And for us to be able to do that, we need insurance companies that are well capitalized. So this I'm saying is just like the basics. We are still going to see a lot of mergers in that particular sector, more capitalization in that particular sector, and more buyout. It's a good for us.
Why is the trading volume dropping even as the turnover is rising?
Now, the trading volume might drop. The trading volume is number of people that bought, not volume that was bought. 5 of us can do what 10 people did last week. 1 person can do what 100 people did last week. I don't know if you understand. Good. So these are things that what's it called? It rose by 60, turnover rose by 64 point something %, which means less people did more than what a higher number of people did.
Now, when we talk about investor confidence, are we looking at the local investors or the foreign investors?
I really wish it's the local investors. Now we don't have that data yet. I really wish it's the local investors. Why do I wish it's the local investors? It's better the local investors take opportunity faster, early. Let those that are coming from outside take it when it's.
So why are the local investors not taking opportunity?
Well, we don't have that data to know who bought and who did not buy. Most times they won't get to show you who exactly who buy or where the monies came from, except if you now go directly to the exchange and try finding out. But hey, everybody, the NGX, your capital market is ours. Let's look at that direction.
So how do we now? It's a good thing that the insurance sector it's booming or about to boom or will boom, but how would that also transcend down to the average citizen? How many? Well, with the advent of the new tax law, a lot of people would have to, get a lot of things insured. But besides car insurance and all that, there are other packages.
There are
education.
There are several packages.
Trust funds. There's so many, but people are not even aware.
That still boils down to what we are talking about when we sit on this table. Information, getting people to know that these opportunities exist. These packages are there. We should go beyond the era of shoes, ties, and people walking the street. We have to find a way of reaching the person out there and saying, okay, good. There are possibilities that in the next 2 years, it will be mandatory for you to have an insurance to deal with business in Nigeria. It's likely going to happen. Just say you heard it first here. It's most likely going to happen. Health insurance is most likely going to be mandatory. Okay, now on paper, it's mandatory for people that are working in offices. But that implementation is not, we've not seen that implementation yet. These are things that are most likely going to have strict implementation very soon. So if we are seeing all this and seeing that these are possibilities, which means this particular sector has the potential of doing way better than it's doing right now.
Now, a lot of these businesses, whether foreign, that have collapsed in the past, do you think that if they had better insurance packages, they would have still remained?
Yes, definitely. If they had been insured, that's Nigerian businesses.
Yes.
If they have been insured with insurance companies that were capable of paying paying premium when these issues happened, yes, definitely, they won't collapse. We have several fire outbreaks. Our neighbors down here, Balogun. So you just imagine if those that were busy shouting and screaming and crying and our heart goes to them, we're insured. Yes, they will cry, but they know somebody has their back.
Do you think these insurance companies are just sleeping, or are they actually doing something? Are they doing some groundwork or homework?
Yes, they are doing some groundwork, but at times insurance companies will go for clients with less risk. So we are looking forward to full implementation of the Insurance Act, where both the investor and the insurer are covered, and people do business knowing fully well that, yes, come rain, come shine, we are good.
All right, let's move on to the next story. Now, the federal government is mobilizing 49% of Nigeria's $2 billion fiber optic network investment to fast-track broadband penetration and strengthen the nation's digital infrastructure. Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, disclosed this during a plenary session organized by IHS Tower at the ongoing 31st Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja. Tijani said the government's contribution will help close Nigeria's connectivity gap and create a solid foundation for the country's transition to a fully digital economy. He noted that expanding fiber optic coverage was crucial to improving internet access, driving innovation, and enabling inclusion across sectors. Now, according to him, the initiative aligns with the President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which prioritizes technology-driven economic growth. The minister added that the project would enhance digital services, boost productivity, open new opportunities for investment and job creation nationwide. Fiber optics. How will this fiber optics project, be? How will it be transformative for Nigeria's economy?
Before we go to this particular story, go ahead.
But before fiber optics, these networks are still complaining about power. So moving into fiber optics, it's like we're jumping. We're leaving the cart before the horse. I don't know how the phrase goes. Do you think we're even ready to move into? I know there's a particular network that's it's been shouting fiber optics years back. I mean, the Green, if you know them, they've been shouting that.
They came up and laid the groundwork and did the money stuff. But now, who exactly are they catering for? That's a different kettle of fish. Now, for we as a nation, we have to grow. We can't be left behind. Countries like Rwanda, when they decided to go digital and were busy laying cables across the country, people were looking at them and were laughing and calling them fools. But that particular infrastructure they did years ago is paying off now, because they had internet connectivities in remote areas where people were not even, businesses were not even patronizing at that particular point in time, because they had a vision and they followed through. This is what great leaders do. You don't build a house when you need it. You build a house because you will need it. You don't build a house because you have a tenant. You build a house because you will have a tenant. In the same thing, we don't construct roads because we want to travel from point A. You construct roads because you will travel from point A to point B. So we should have had this digital infrastructure, all the cables, all the fiber networks. We should have had it already by now. We used to have a NITEL. Unfortunately,
the building we occupy.
We used to have a NITEL who had the basic backbone infrastructure before GSM operators came online. The initial plan was that NITEL will still be the backbone for all the operators.
Yes, that was it.
That was the initial plan. But thanks to what they only can explain, NITEL fell apart. NITEL should have been the major backbone for every operator, laying down all the network cables and every single thing. So if that was done then, we won't be having this particular discussion now. We're talking about how we could get people in remote areas to bank, and we were saying, okay, internet connectivity. That should not be the case for Nigeria in 2025. But they say when one wakes up, it's this morning. So right now, the government is saying, okay, this is our plan, and we need to get this done. Now, let's now try and see a whole lot of transparency. We've seen from this particular story, 49% upfront has been dropped for this particular project, 2 billion. The question that we want to ask is, sometime 2 weeks ago, we had that same discussion on this table of $750 million loan for this part of this particular project. So let's start knowing these particular monies that is being earmarked and dropped for that out of that 2 billion. Is $750 million that came as loan? Is it what was dropped, or is it part of it? Let's start seeing those specifics.
Instead of going that route of always getting loan, can we do public-private sector partnership? Yes, it's capital intensive, but instead of going out to get millions of dollars outside, I mean, we have people who are capable, actually. I mean, if you raise a couple of Dangotes or $10 and the rest of them, you will get that money.
Well, the government, do they see it in that light? It takes a businessman to be able to get a businessman to work. When, after Trump's inauguration, Trump called, I'm trying to remember this Asian man, he asked the man to get them some billions, and the man doubled it. I will give you double of what you are asking for. I don't know if you understand. It takes a businessman with a business sense to bring business into his country, in the light that you're looking at. Is this president capable? He has to be. Right now, we need to grow. People might not understand it. That's why they say Dangote monopoly. We need to grow Dangotes in this nation because it's human beings that will grow the nation, not government. It's human businesses that will grow the nation, not government. Government will make the environment possible and make it conducive for every business to thrive. And we will hold them to that. But it is individuals, entrepreneurs that will grow the country. So let's take our minds away that there is a Tinubu or there is a Messiah that is going to come one day and will be in El Dorado. No, it's me, it's you. So just like you said, is it possible? Definitely possible. Finding them is another thing. Making them know that no matter what happens, your investment is protected is another thing.
Now, you said it earlier on. How do we get fiber optics to the rural areas? Because whether we like it or not, that is where connectivity needs more attention. I mean, forget the metropolitan, Lagos, and the rest of them. What about those rural areas? That's where connectivity, if we truly want to get the so-called unbanked, this, that, into the system, which is going to help boost the economy, the GDP, how do we get fiber optics to the rural areas?
It's not difficult. It's still government will. Remember the era of, I remember growing up, ours was 066. I can't finish calling the last 6 digits. Nitel had those cables, Nitel cables. If you remember very well. Lagos was 01. Yes. Those cables were everywhere.
They were everywhere.
It's the same way. We need to lay those cables. If the green company could lay optic cable all the way through the high sea, oceans, and bring it into Africa, then why can't the government do it? So government can do it. It's doable. It's just that, yes, it costs a lot of money to put that infrastructure down, but we can do it, and we should do it, because the onus is on us right now. Because if we don't get there, it's going to be problematic tomorrow.
How sustainable is this? Is it sustainable? Because sustainability also matters in any infrastructure, in any infrastructural project we are doing in Nigeria. Sustainability matters a lot.
Yes, it is. Now we have a lot of road constructions that we get to see, and you now see. Once you earmark, nobody encroaches in the national grid high tension way. It's there. You know, it's a no-go area.
It's a no-go, yes, because of...
You know, you definitely know it's a no-go area. It's the same way. So if we have to look for how to pass those particular cables, then good and fine. We'll find how to pass those particular cables. If it's difficult, then the government should go and look for how to sign satellite deals. And have strictly communication satellite up there. So there are options. So government should weigh which one is cheaper and more affordable for us for total coverage.
Lastly, how would this now translate? Because I'm looking at how would this translate to new jobs, new businesses? How would it, affect the economy?
100%. Let's start from education, which is the basics. I don't need to go to Lagos or go to Enugu or go to Abuja.
Ife.
Or go to Ife, apologies, or to go study or conduct one research when I can stay in my village in Kara Namoda, have access to the net, and attend that same school. Classes are conducted online right now from nearly all Nigerian major universities. So now the universities themselves don't have issues for connectivity because you are streaming the class right from Yola, and your student in Abia is attending the class, and Max present, and you see him, he sees you, and everybody is in the class at the same time. I don't need to worry myself about research work when I know I can connect every single researcher, and we all sit down and put our heads together and work. So information flow is key. My data is protected because I now know that, okay, good, there are servers not outside this country that can say, okay, tomorrow we are shutting down because your president has refused our president a handshake. So these are things that we need to sort out for ourselves and not depend on someone else.
What about businesses?
Businesses will... Who is worried about transactions anymore when I know very well that my transaction is going to go through? who is worried about trying to reach a client or reach a new customer outside this country when I know that definitely he is just a button away?
All right, let's quickly go on a short break. We still have more stories coming up on SOUQ Business Landscape. Don't forget, keep liking, drop your comments. We would like to read your comments. We'll be right back.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
The growing interest in Nigeria's lithium reserves comes as countries worldwide scramble to secure supplies of the mineral which is essential for powering the green energy revolution. In this special report by Bayo Olaoye, the need to harness this resource for growth and development is examined with the evolution of electric vehicles and renewable energy storage systems. Lithium is a key component in the production of batteries for electric vehicles and renewable energy storage systems, and Nigeria is positioning itself to become a major player in the global lithium market. Nigeria's vast lithium reserves, valued over $34 billion, is no doubt attracting world attention, while lithium factories are springing up in different parts of Nigeria already. The attention of the international mining industry is also focused on lithium because it is critical raw material for the production of solar panels and electric vehicles. Analysts predict that global lithium market could grow robustly over the next decade, driven by the rapid adoption of electric vehicles and renewable energy technologies. Data from a global future market insight showed that the lithium mining industry has emerged as a cornerstone of the clean energy transition, driven by the skyrocketing demand for lithium-ion batteries. The surge in lithium demand is driven largely by the electric vehicles market, which accounted for over 70% of the global lithium consumption in 2024, according to an Iranian-based research firm. With countries such as the United States, China, and members of the European Union pushing for next zero emission by mid-century, lithium demand is expected to escalate further. The federal government, indeed, the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, should intensify efforts geared at renewing and resuscitating the viable lithium industry in the country to its full potential. As Nigeria diversifies its economy into other sectors, the lithium industry offers hope and expectation that this sector would earn more revenue for the country. Nigeria should not just watch with folded arms, but must strive with the political will to develop and strengthen the country's vast lithium reserves.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Welcome back to SOUQ Business Landscape, Business Development Economy. Now, let's take this next story. Airpeace Limited has issued a firm disclaimer, refuting claims of a 30% off Africa flight. Yes, you heard it. Flight promotions currently circulating on social media. Now, the airline stated that it has no connection to the purported discount offer, describing it as entirely false and misleading. In a statement released by its spokesperson of C4 Whiskey, AFI, Airpeace clarified that the promotion did not originate from the company and warned customers to be cautious of fraudulent schemes designed to exploit unsuspecting travelers. And the airline reaffirmed its commitment to transparent and official communications through its verified channels only. The publicity urged members of the public to disregard the fake advertisement and avoid sharing or engaging with promoters. Airpeace also encouraged customers to verify any promotional information directly from its website or official social media handles to prevent fallen victims to online scams. Chucks, this is quite... Now, let's also put a disclaimer out there, because when we talk about this, it's what they always say, it's Nigeria, and this is not Nigeria. This is just some unscrupulous people just trying to make extra money. But if you look at this now, how serious is this threat of online scam? I mean, in terms of reputation and customers' trust?
Well, it's quite serious. The airline has, over the last few months, repositioned itself as a brand that customers should go to. And we've seen that reciprocation from the nation, as in also putting them first and trying to make sure that Nigerian businesses do well. An example is the Brazilian connection. And when that particular agreement was signed, I was saying, okay, a Brazilian flight is going to come this way. And I was shocked when they said, no, it's Airpeace that's going to take you to Brazil, not a Brazilian flight bringing you this way. And I said, good. We've seen a lot of issues where when we try taking multi-steps forward, some people will try to take steps backward. This is just simple. It's internet fraud. Be careful out there. It's fizzing. You might be shocked that it might even be Airpeace something.com, but it might not be really their official website. So don't let anybody tell you Nigeria. No. You also might be sure that it's not even a Nigerian person that is doing this. Anybody can do this from any corner of the globe. They just see an opportunity that people are going to fall for, and they'll push it out there. So please, the company have come to tell you that, hey, we are not doing any promotion. Our prices has not increased. That has not decreased.
Has not decreased, yes.
So follow the right channel and do not make unnecessary payments online when you have not verified. These people have fallen victim to this over and over again. Not just in this country, internationally. Worst of outside this country. So don't fall victim for that.
Talking about this online payment, how do we make it even more secure? Because, I mean, this is part of the reason why a lot of people prefer to still go and book on the counter rather than paying online.
Well, I can't remember booking on the counter for a very long time. Okay, now, there are several fintechs and auxiliary services within that you trust, that you should know. So if you have those particular apps that you trust or that you use, so you can make payments through those particular ones, for whoever is fixing will not go through them. They will have a different payment gateway. So always look for what payment gateway that you use. So if you pay through your payment gateways, anything that is outside your payment gateways, then question it.
Also, this online scammers, they have a bank, they have an account.
Yes, they have an account.
How is that even possible?
Now, for those that have Nigerian bank account, the EFCC can always trace them.
Okay.
So you don't catch a criminal except he commits a crime. But you can follow a criminal's trail and catch him in the act of trying to commit a crime. But for those that are online, the advice is always this. Like I said before, always pay through your trusted payment gateway. For others that you think is an account, the internet has become so wide and so broad that payments can be made outside bank accounts. There are other service providers that are not even Nigerians. There are other services that, as long as your typical example, your Verve card, your MasterCard, your Visa card, they are international cards. So there are other gateways that will also be able to access those particular payment details that are not Nigerian banks. So you need to be careful out there. If you're making payments here, make sure they are through the gateways you normally pay through, that you trust, that you have. Anything outside that, question it.
All right, let's move on to the next story. Alternative energy. Nigeria has spent 242.68 billion naira on solar panel imports in 6 months. Now, talking about this, Nigeria spent 248.6 billion naira on importing solar panel in the first half of 2025, reflecting the nation's growing appetite for renewable energy amid persistent power shortages. And the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, shows that solar panels ranked among the country's top imported items during the period. Now, between January and March 2025, photovoltaic cells assembled into modules or panels worth 125.29 billion naira were imported, while the second quarter recorded about 117.39 billion naira. The sustained import volume highlights strong demand for households and businesses seeking alternative sources. Analysts say the trend underlines the urgent need to expand local manufacturing capacity for solar products. They note that boosting domestic production could help import dependence, create jobs, and support Nigeria's energy transition plans as the government pushes for increased use of clean and affordable energy solutions. SOUQ, even though this is not where we're supposed to be, I mean, power is, in 2025, we're still looking at this issue of power. But, okay, we are here now. Renewable energy, solar panels. And it shows here now that a lot of people are going for alternative power. I mean, you cannot say they should not do business. They have to do business. They have to make profit. And this is why they have resorted to solar powers. But now the report is saying that imagine if we can actually start producing these panels in Nigeria. That will create jobs. That would also drive the economy. What do you think? Rather than fixing the major problem.
Well, for fixing the major problem, you're talking about having generation, distribution, transmission sorted out. That is a long-term project coming. From Obasanjo's administration to this particular administration, we've seen money budgeted, disbursed, missing, and people can't account for it. People have not been jailed for it. We can still remember the Lawan issue and the money in the cap issue for projects that were given in that particular sector.
Yes.
And the major players are still the big boys in the economy and the politicians in the economy. So that vicious circle, we need to start dealing with it. Until we do that, then we can now make headways. Are we trying to get generating stations up? Yes. But it's a long-term project. That infrastructure development in power is a long-term project. But from now to that long-term project, people need to survive. Businesses need to thrive. So they will go for a quick fix. Possibilities, which is the solar installations. Now, let's look at the figures. 242.68 billion just between January and May.
Quite huge.
Of this 246.68 billion, just within this short period. Now, this is the one that were accounted for officially, coming through official channels. So you can be very sure that more came through unofficial channels. More were not declared. More were under-declared. Definitely, that is for sure. So let's give and take times 10. Of this amount, less than 0.5% of this was made here. So all this amount is out. This is what we've lost. Yes, that we say that's lost. This is what we've lost to foreign government, to China, majorly. Dear President, dear state governors, if the president is too busy trying to fix the economy, dear state governors, dear Lagos state governor, because this is where over 60% of them crosses through your ports, apart from those that come through illegal border crossings. Dear Lagos state governor, look at an opportunity. There are local manufacturers of panels. There are local manufacturers of batteries. There are local manufacturers of inverters. Dear Lagos State Governor, this is a major opportunity. This is a major opportunity. Don't sleep on this. Dear governors from the East, a lot of this is going to the East. because you are one of the sides that are suffering this power issue. This is also an opportunity. Don't sleep on it. Then those from the middle belt too.
But should
those from the north.
Should it even be the government? Why not the private sector?
Yes. Now let's when we say why not the private sector, good and fine. Somebody gathers somebody. Somebody calls somebody. We have town criers. Who sends the town crier? The village head sends the town crier. Yes. Good. Dear governors, send your town criers. Gather your private possible people that can invest in this. So the private investor right now is busy looking for how to calculate his current business. But you as a governor, you know and you have the data of what is coming in and going out. You have it. You can say, okay, look at the opportunity. We on our own side will give you this backing. Produce this here.
I know some are even assembled in Nigeria. What, do you think that's still a good way to go, or should we do more than just assemble?
We have to do more than that. We have to produce it. We have to produce. Because if we say assembling the solar panels, what I would do, I say going back to China to get the glass, to get the fibers, to get the wires, to get almost everything. We have to find ways of producing them here. And in the long run, another thing we'll start is just a matter of time, standardization and waste from this particular panels. They have a lifespan of between 10 to 30 years. After that, what happens? We now start dealing with issues of waste from solar panels. Whereas we can make something way better here. These are opportunities that we should not just sleep over. We have to start taking full advantage of it.
So how can policy and private investments, drive this homegrown solar industry? What do you think?
The governors, just like we said, the president, just like we said, well, we are going to say, well, if I would say tariff is not going to work, but hey, talk to China. You've been there several times. You've signed beautiful deals that brought rail to Lagos, that is still building the red rail all the way down to the Lekki axis. We can still talk. And let
you said talk to China. You're talking about partnership?
Yes, partnership.
Foreign investments?
We might not be foreign. Let's partner.
What about
skills? They have people that are building this there. They can come here and build. If China can come here and build the electric cars, they can also do.
If China comes here, that doesn't equate to skills transfer because they will do it.
It's a matter of time.
Okay.
It's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
It definitely is a matter of time.
How would that also, I'm looking at skills transfer because if China comes to do it here, will they transfer that technology, that skill?
You don't transfer technology by will, except if you buy it. Or if it's a policy whereby there is the Chinese person, the next person following is a Nigerian person, and he just understudies. But most times it's not most times by will. You have to find a way of getting it. Okay. Either you buy it, either you study it, or you steal it. There are no two ways about it.
We don't steal in Nigeria. We don't steal in Nigeria.
Well, when it comes to intellectual property, we share.
Yes, we share. That's the right word. I'm looking at a situation whereby there's a policy. China comes in, your technicians, maybe some parts of the senior technicians can come from China, but the technicians, or let's just say 60% of the workforce is from Nigeria, and maybe 40% from China.
60% of workforce. Now, define the workforce.
I'm not
the
talking
workforce
about
might not be those producing. The workforce might just be the lower workforce.
That's why I said technicians.
Technicians in charge of what? Of logistics. Or technicians in charge of what? Of assembling when they finish doing the real do. It's still the same thing. We need to get into the nitty-gritty of producing this particular thing. Yes, we have companies here in Nigeria that are doing it. We have to push them. If the government can upscale them, be it financially, we just have to push them.
Can we have some form of initiative program whereby we train some of them and equip them? Some kind of partnership with the public and private sector. You train these technicians, you empower them, and they go build some of these solar panels. Is that possible?
It's possible.
Or we even liaise with...
Possible. A lot of the inverters can be built. A lot of electricians actually build inverters.
What are these colleges of technologies doing? Can we not partner with them?
Okay, now you're going somewhere. Now we have the government initiative for the technical colleges. We have also the hubs that government has planned and put monies down. We should start seeing them now. It's almost 3 months. We should start seeing, okay, this hub in this state. Some polytechnics, majorly polytechnics,
yes,
were also earmarked as going to be centers for those technology hubs. We should start seeing them functioning by now. So these are questions we should start asking. Okay, good. Where are those hubs? Where are they functioning? What's coming out of them?
All right, let's move on to the next story. Bilateral credit system. Now, it says here that after converting $5 billion railway loan to one, Kenya has completed the conversion of its $5 billion railway loan from dollars to yuan to cut borrowing costs. Now, Finance Minister John Mbadi announced on Tuesday. Mbadi explained that the currency switch will lower the loan's interest rate from dollar-based to yuan-based terms, saving the country about $215 million annually. Now, the two tranches of the loan were initially secured in US dollars for the construction of Kenya's standard gauge railway. The move aligns with Nairobi's broader debt management strategy and deepening financial ties with China, which remains Kenya's largest bilateral creditor and infrastructure partner. Jokes, is this, they got the loan in dollars and converted it to yuan. What do you see? Is this a good move? Will this pay off? It says $215 million has been saved. Annually.
Forward thinking. People are seeking solutions to their problems. So if they can save $250 million annually, imagine what that will do if reinjected back to the economy. Kenya has a high debt burden right now as we speak. So they are seeking solutions. And the international bodies and international lenders, they know very well that they won't give you a loan in your own currency. So let's be fair.
So do you think other African nations should follow suit?
Definitely.
We
don't need to reinvent the wheel. Someone has done it, and it's profitable, and it's good for their economy. They should also go. All African countries should follow that route. But the question should be, African countries, please borrow less.
But if you look at it, it's still US dollars to yuan. So it's not, it's still outside the continent.
Yes, but right now it's still better for them compared to what it is when it's the dollar. There's a whole lot of fluctuation when it comes to African currencies and the dollar. The dollar is always up there, pushing high, going there. Then you see a whole lot of African countries' currencies devaluing.
So how strong is the yuan to the naira compared to the dollar?
Now, it's not just it's the yuan to their own currency.
Their own currency.
So since they do a lot of business and with China, the possibility of devaluation of their currency is lesser than that of the dollar. That is why they are having this difference in the first place. So whatever devaluation happens between their currency and the dollar won't go the way of their currency and the yuan as fast as it will happen. So that difference now becomes what they are saving. The same thing happened to us and what's it called? And the dollar. When this administration came up, we went from 300 and something to 7,600. We woke up and it was 1,800 and something.
Even almost 2,000.
So you just imagine if we had that debt in naira. Then the lender will be the one crying. But right now, it is what it is. African countries need to wake up. If you are taking a loan, we have to be specific. What are you taking a loan for? We can't be taking loan to service a loan, please.
So how might deeper yuan integration affect Kenya's future borrowing and trade strategy? Do you think it should affect it in a positive way?
Tomorrow, Kenya should not borrow in dollar anymore. If they are borrowing, borrow in Chinese currency.
But they're still borrowing.
Yes, they will borrow. They are a country. They are borrowing. The US is borrowing, so they will borrow. But when you borrow, just like we always say, borrow for projects that can pay back that loan. that way, don't borrow for social services. Nigeria, please don't borrow for social services. Borrow for businesses or infrastructure that with time will be able to pay back that loan.
All right, let's move on to our next story. It has to do with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is always on the news. Now, Donald Trump has announced on Monday that all medium and heavy-duty trucks imported into the United States will be subject to a 25% tariff. Yes, always tariff, starting from November 1st. Now, this move marks a significant escalation in the administration's push to protect American manufacturers and strengthen domestic supply chains. Trump had earlier stated that the tariffs initially planned for October 1st were based on national security concerns aimed at shielding U.S. truck makers from unfair outside competitions. Companies expected to benefit include Parker's, Peterbilt, and Kenworth's brand, as well as Daimler's truck, Freightliner. According to Reuters, existing trade agreements with Japan and European Union set tariff for light-duty vehicles at 15%, but it remains unclear whether the rate will apply to larger vehicles. Now, the new policy is expected to further test trade relations with key U.S. allies. This is quite interesting. Now, how would this tariff, how will it impact global automakers and, of course, U.S. trade partners? Because, I mean, it's not just cars are coming in to the U.S. from China, Japan, from other countries. And now you're slamming it 25% to protect yours. How would that reflect? Wouldn't that reflect in the end user? Would they not feel it more?
Well, if it's several ways. Now, we all know before now, the U.S. used to be the haven when it comes to truck manufacturing. They were the go-to country for truck manufacturing. They had the big boys' names, the Kenworths, they had the Dreslers, they had the big boys' names. Then Europe woke up and started competing. Then Volvo decided to go into trucks. Mercedes went into trucks.
Yes.
Then one particular day, Japan also decided, no, we can get into this place. India also came up. Then China came up and scattered the entire market.
Always China throwing spanner.
Chinese trucks were costing less than 25% of what US trucks were costing. And a lot of Chinese trucks were fast and they could offer you disposable trucks. They won't last as long as the US trucks, but they will get you there at 10% of what Kenworth was offering you. Over time, a lot of the US market now started looking outside, and the US trucks were more of articles of ostentation for the pride of the nation. Now we have a president that is a protectionist, and he said, no, we have to turn this tide. Manufacturing is leaving our shores and going elsewhere. So the tariff regime came, but right now the truck industry have also called and say, hey, don't forget us. And now it's coming their own way. Is it going to be good for them? Definitely yes. More companies will look forward to acquiring US trucks because it's going to be more expensive buying trucks from outside. And yes, it will grow more jobs. Yes, it will grow. We'll get to see maybe at the end of the day, we'll see those kind of agreements whereby China will now say, okay, don't worry, we won't produce these trucks here anymore. We'll come and produce it in your place, which is most likely what he wants. So we'll see those particular industries coming back into the US soil to produce.
Just like what happened with ByteDance.
Come back here and do the production and not produce in your place and ship to us. Why not do the production here? Employ our people, pay your tax here, then ship to your own people.
But this would also strain America's relation with Japan and the EU.
Well,
is Trump not looking at that?
Relation is interest. That is where we on this side of the divide will miss it. We miss that a lot. International relation, it's interest.
Interest.
So whose interest are we here for? So they are making sure that their interest is protected. So it's up to you to see how you deal with yours.
Do you think that this might maybe cause them to shift to other markets, maybe Africa?
Are we producing trucks?
I mean, bring the trucks into Africa if US is slamming them with a tariff.
Yeah, but another thing you now get to ask, so what quantity of trucks are we most likely going to take from them compared to what the US takes from them? So these are the dynamics there. What also stops Africa from producing their own trucks? Dangote started stuff with Zeno.
Yes.
So what stopped it? There used to be an Anamco. What exactly is stopping them? We need to get back. What's his name? Koscharis and the man from Newi, AVM. Innocent, yes. IVM, yes. So we should also get into these spaces because we need a lot of these trucks. The trucks, what we get to see around here are majorly Asian trucks, China, Japan, Indian trucks.
Is the Nigerian market viable for truck production?
Definitely.
Apart from Dangote ordering, in large quantities.
Definitely. How many trucks did he order for? 4,000 trucks. Just imagine if 4,000 trucks rolled out from a Nigerian mill, rolled out from a Nigerian assembly plant. Just imagine. That assembly plant is covered for 5 years. So they have enough funds to produce for the next 5 years. But that particular assembly, that particular production is going to China. To be precise, that Chinese company had, at a point in time, had to show videos of rolling out Dangote trucks from their plant. With the inscription on the trucks already. They showed them rolling out from their own plants. So is our market? Yes. We can't grow. We will get to a pace whereby Africa will need more trucks than the West. If we grow at the pace we want. 90% of the mining, trucks are involved. 90% of road construction, trucks are involved. Movement of last mile goods, trucks are involved.
So coming back to US, like you said, these other guys from Europe, China, Japan, they offered lesser amounts to get these trucks. So Trump slamming 25% doesn't also automatically equate that the ones in the US will bring their price down. How would this balance?
They have to find a way of competing because whoever is buying aside loyalty, aside performance, another thing you also be looking at is price. Performance, yes. Price is also is high up there when it comes to making decisions on what to buy. So will they bring their prices down? They have to find ways of making it competitive. They definitely have to find ways of making it competitive. If they have to seek for how to get materials to build cheaper, produce cheaper, and sell cheaper, good. Because even if if the 25%, if this tariff is there and that truck is still coming in cheaper than ours and it's performing very well, they will still go for it.
But that would also translate to the end user. If they eventually agree to this 25%, they just jack up the price.
They may not. They may not. Now, why do I say they may not? Now, for some particular production, what is rolling out from the assembly plant, the cost of that is rolling out from the assembly plant is not the cost at which, even 25% might not be the cost at which you are getting it. So it might be rolling out from the assembly plant, and by the time it gets to the end user, it has been marked up by 50%.
With or with the tariff?
Without the tariff. Those possibilities are there. Typical example, the drugs that were leaving, the US, and going elsewhere were selling cheaper, whereas the drugs that were coming from EU into the US were selling well over 60-70% of the cost of production. Same thing happened to us this way. Remember when the pharmaceutical companies left? Ventolin, that was how much? Went almost times 4, times 5. Did the cost of production change? No. So that's why it's always better you manufacture and you control the price in your country.
Quite interesting. This has been a very robust discussion on SOUQ business landscape. Don't forget, from reforms in banking and broadband to global shifts in trade and finance, the stories shaping today's SOUQ business landscape show one thing: policy, technology, and market are more connected than ever. I am Olumide Shokoya. Thanks for watching, and see you next time tomorrow for insights that moves the economy.
Thank you very much for being part of SBL today. My name is Chooks, John Rogers Chooks. Let's do this again tomorrow.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
The Nigerian National Medicine Development Agency, NNMDA, was created in 1997 and backed by Act 2019 to enable the federal government of Nigeria through Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation actualize its critical and strategic mandates to research, develop, document, preserve, conserve, and promote Nigeria's natural medicine defined as indigenous medicine. 4 Director Generals had steered the affairs of the agency since its creation 28 years ago. A new vista, however, opened in the history of the existence of the agency when Martins Emeje, a distinguished pharmacist and professor of nanotechnology, was appointed as the 5th Director General and Chief Executive Officer in May 2023. Before taking on the mantle of leadership at the NNMDA, Professor Martins Emeje was the Chair R&D at the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, with many feats on drug formulation and R&D results to his credit.
I deliberately applied for this job. There was advertisement. I applied. I wrote the exam. It was an online exam. Nobody saw anybody. And 1 hour exam online. When you submit your answer sheet, you have a copy of the answer sheet. So I have the copy of the answer that I submitted online that day. And that is my manifesto. So every month, I look at the answers that I submitted, and it guides me in the work that I do. As a researcher and proudly the first and only research fellow in Nigeria who is heading a research institute, I know exactly the problems of R&D in Nigeria, because nobody in Nigeria has or is currently heading a research institute, and he went through the rank and file from being a trainee researcher to an intern researcher, an NYSC researcher, and then a research professor. This is the background that I have.
Call him a round peg in a round hole, and you won't be wrong, as he hit the ground running, leaving a lot of innovations on his trail, achieving great strides in the areas of education, agriculture, and health, thereby raising the bar in R&D in natural medicine for the agency. From May 2023, when he was appointed, within just a few months, 4 oral solid dosage formulation products were unveiled.
My greatest moment actually happened on 8th of March 2024, when the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Naji, came to Lagos in the campus of NNMDA here to launch 4 oral solid dosage forms. It was not just the first time it was happening in NNMDA, the very first time it was happening in Nigeria. We decided that we will go for education as a major target, as a major KPI And we went for it aggressively and got accreditation to start a 2-year national diploma in natural medicine. So this agency, for the first time in Nigeria, we now have a school of natural medicine. It's never been heard before. It happened in this administration within these 2 years. Within these 2 years too, because the country saw that we had made explosive advancement in this area, we got upgraded to what we call an awarding body for national skills acquisition in traditional medicine. One of the best medicinal gardens that you can find in Africa right now is in this country, owned by the Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency, and we did it these 2 years. In fact, two of our products that is waiting for Mr. President launch was we got our raw materials from our Nasarawa State Farm in Karo. Nigeria is the largest producer of cassava in the world. Cassava. The only country that competes with Nigeria is Brazil. Yet, Nigeria does not have value-added cassava products. Yet, Nigeria imports starch to make pharmaceutical products. We made a presentation to the National Assembly, and the Senate of our National Assembly supported us. So we went into development of pharmaceutical grade starch. Today, we have pharmaceutical grade starch. In health itself, we have developed and submitted to NAFDAC about 23 different products. 23. And they are all at advanced stage of NAFDAC's regulatory assessment at this point. Now, 3 of such products plus 5 of what we did the previous years is available, and people, because we are a research institution not capacitated or competent by reason of mandate and skilling to do marketing, we do them. We do proof of concept, and we wait for entrepreneurs of pharmaceutical industries, nutraceutical industries, food industries to come take them to the market, right? But we also owe, because, like I said, the huge component of the Renewed Hope agenda is that people should be attended to, so that they know that they cannot lose their hope completely in their country. So in this environment, anybody who wants drug for hypertension, for malaria, for erectile dysfunction, for arthritis, for diabetes, for hepatitis, for about at least 8 different disease areas, they come to our pharmacy here to get the drugs.
The past 2 years, under the leadership of Professor Martins Emeje, has seen human capacity development like never before. A development that propelled the agency's researchers into breaking new ground.
This agency had never, in its almost 30 years of existence, had never participated in any local conference where researchers went with work they did in their own laboratory to go make competitive presentation. In our maiden outing in these 2 years, we won 2 awards. We went out for the first time and we got 2 awards. We took first position and we took third position. That is gold and bronze. When I came, I met researchers that have been here working for 15 years but with 1 degree. And I told them, you can't be a researcher with 1 degree. So I embarked on rigorous and aggressive drive to partner and collaborate with investors. So we went into that. Today, as I'm talking to you, we have at least 13 researchers and of the agency that are doing different postgraduate studies in different universities in Nigeria. I have a staff that was in Zimbabwe for 6 months. Now he has a master's in intellectual property. At least 7 of my staff have gone to India.
Quality assurance has been one of the top priorities of the NNMDA Director General, and the accreditation of the agency's laboratory and product development unit for pharmacy internship program by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria a year ago. Under the watch of Professor Martins Emeje, the agency recently graduated its pioneer pharmacy interns.
I went into nanotechnology or nanosciences after PhD, and I had to go out of the country to train in this area for more than 4 years. So it's an area that I'm keen about. I'm one of the first people, if not the first, in Nigeria to have put in practice nanotechnology. What it has done to me as someone who studied Western pharmacy, which is more like macro study, it is that it has taught me how to manage resources, no matter how simple.
The last 2 years has seen NNMDA signing important memoranda of understanding with reputable academic institutions and other critical stakeholders in the areas of training and laboratory services to Nigerian universities. As part of its advocacy and public enlightenment drive, the agency brought together critical stakeholders in the nation's natural medicine space for a national dialogue on rethinking natural medicine aimed at galvanizing the needed support and political will.
I want the president of Nigeria to just be coming on television and saying that people, natural medicine, no other thing. Natural medicine, let's do our own. Let's do our own. Let him just be saying it. Anytime he's talking to press, let him say it. Because once people know that this is where the president is, this is where his mind is, this is what his body language is, they will start investing in natural medicine.
A turning point for the agency was the resolution of the National Assembly on Natural Medicine Gazette. The visit by the chairman, House Committee on Legislative Compliance, was a further demonstration of the renewed impetus.
We cannot have 160 million people subscribing to something, and then the remaining 40 million people, you now want to say that foreign medicine, what you call allopathic medicine, that is the superior to our natural medicine. No, it's not. So when the House of Representatives passed that resolution, I told myself, I have now achieved. So what I was thinking would take me 4 years to achieve, actually, we got it done in 2 years. And it's one of the, so our target has actually increased. The best place to actually functionalize or operationalize Renew Hope agenda, Mr. President, is in the health sector. It's in the health sector. And I always tell people, 2 things that if you have security in it, then you are safe. Food and medicine. Any intervention, any project that we do, that it is not about developing our own indigenous resources, is short-term. It's not sustainable. The only sustainable form of development is indigenous development. So anybody who wants to give me support now, I will just tell you what I want. For example, I want all my staff to live in this compound. If you go to other countries of the world, all these staff of the research institution, they live inside the compound.
Inspiring a new mindset among staff and attitude to work, for the NNMDA Director General, the task of achieving the mandate and the vision of the agency is work in progress.
directors, President, Nigerian Guild of Editors, distinguished editors, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mr. Chairman, as part of your engagement, to engage with various stakeholders, you have met with various groups, and another critical group that you are meeting today are members of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Of course, you had a meeting with NUG, where they selected journalists from states of the Federation, where you share your vision and also seek for their support. It's the same thing we are here today. Editors, before you is the chairman of the ICPC. Before becoming the chairman of ICPC, he was the Commissioner of Justice in Jigawa State. And he has a vision that he intends to unveil, or he wants you to help him so that he achieve this vision. Dr. Musa Ali San is currently pursuing a vigorous restructuring of the ICPC that requires your support, your understanding. And that is why I came to Lagos purposely to meet with you and to seek for that support. Distinguished editors, I present you as one of you. I present you the chairman of ICPC and Dr. Musa Ali San. Mr. Chairman, you are welcome, sir.
The management staff of ICPC, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy and delighted to be in the midst of these distinguished Nigerians. And I have to say that we at ICPC, we really cherishes and greatly values the partnership with you all, because we know that you are really great and valuable because of the role which our Grand Norm has given to the media. And there is no doubt that your dedication to exposing corruption and enhancing our efforts has been crucial in fostering a more transparent society. And our decision to come here today is part of our determination to strengthen our partnership. That's why this breakfast meeting is not merely an event, but a reaffirmation of our shared mission to combat corruption and uphold integrity in Nigeria. And your support for the ICPC in delivering its statutory mandates, including its robust activities and initiatives in fighting corrupt practices and other related offenses in Nigeria, is really commendable, because you have been really helpful in enlightening Nigerians about the problem of corruption. And I'm personally filled with gratitude that the media has continued to positively boost the ICPC's anti-corruption public communication efforts. Your investigative reports, analysis, and overall dedication to truth have helped in exposing corrupt practices, because there are a lot of stories that you published which help us in our investigation. And most of these stories, they have led us to discovering some massive challenges that is facing, or that are facing our public sector. And if I may recall, there is one whereby it has to do with our youth. The contract is supposed to be executed for the benefit of our youth, but the humongous amount of money was diverted. And it was as a result of one of you we discovered the challenge. So I thank you for the contribution. As we salute your commitment to the crusade against corruption, ICPC under my leadership is really serious to ensure that sustenance and heightening of our collaboration with you. And the media is not merely an observer, you are a frontline partner in the fight. And over the years, ICPC has adopted a strategic communication approach in line with Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution as amended and Section 27, Sub 4 of the ICPC Act. And these laws ensure the protection of suspects' rights while remaining strict, diligent, and stern in our actions. And ICPC will remain resolute in propagating the rule of law and protecting human dignity. And also, ICPC under my leadership prioritizes the protection of whistleblowers and the integrity of investigations. And transparency is a cornerstone of our work, and we will continue to provide verified information through official channels, which include press releases, newsletters, and our digital platforms. May I quickly review some of our engagement last year? Last year, because I was the Attorney General, and I rallied my former colleagues, we had a meeting in Abuja, whereby we look at the challenge of corruption at subnational. We reviewed the problems and also agree that we need to work together. As a former Attorney General, I know that they are critical because they are the chief law officers of the states. That is why I engaged them, and after the meeting we had in Abuja, we started the zonal engagement. We had one in Kano for the Northwest, where we discussed challenges around corruption within the zone. And also this year we are going to the other geopolitical zones to have similar deliberations. And also in September this year we are going to sit down and review what we have done to see how can we partner. Because I feel the attorneys general are critical, and as chief law officers they need to work together with us, because by section 15 of the Constitution all of us are supposed to put hand on deck in order to fight corruption and also to see how can we tackle abuse of office. And also I had an engagement with Nigerian Institute of the NIPR, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, ICANN, Nigerian Bar Association, and various stakeholders on how can we partner in the fight against corruption. Because no single entity can fight corruption. We need to work together. So that is why I reach out to various stakeholders to ensure that we are on the same page. And last year, we were able to reach out fiscally 1,458,000 individuals through our 579 sensitization exercise conducted under our community engagement programs. And we issued about 188 press releases. And also the Commission experienced increased followership in our social media platforms. And also we introduced what we call ethics pods, a podcast, whereby we are sensitizing Nigerians around the issue of corruption. And also, there is no way we can succeed without having planning. Our strategic action plan 2024 to 2028 was unveiled last year, whereby we gathered stakeholders and discussed it, because that will be our focus on how we can work. And our strategic action plan is in line with the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, which has 5 pillars: corruption prevention, issue of enforcement and punishment, ethical orientation, and also enlisting public support of Nigerians, so that, and also recovery of proceeds of crime and management. And this is the area whereby we have upscaled our activities to see that we trace, recover, and manage the process of crime, and also to remit it back to the Consolidated Revenue Fund, so that we won't allow those allegedly took away what did not belong to them to go away with it. Because if you allow them, once they accumulate the process of crime, no doubt they will use it and also to fight back. And also they will deprive Nigerians with what they are supposed to have in the issue of infrastructure. So that's why we focus seriously in that area of recovery of proceeds of crime. And also ICPC, as you know, that it has laudable programs. And one of the key issues which I focus is that I ensure that I consolidate all what the previous chairman of ICPC have done, from late Justice Mustafa Akambi to Professor Wasoni. I ensure that all their programs are intact, and I'm building up, so that I want to ensure that we maintain that organizational culture of ICPC, and also for me to enhance what they did, most especially to focus on digital transformation, because this is an area whereby we need to use technology in the fight against corruption, most especially in the area of analytics, artificial intelligence, that we'll be able to analyze huge data. And I'm sure you are aware of the constituency and executive project tracking, which ICPC is well known about it. And I know last year we were able to track over 1,500 projects, which has value of over 600 billion naira. And so that at least Nigerians can get good quality projects that is in the budget. And also the Ethic and Integrity Compliance Scorecard, which is an initiative of ICPC, which measure institutions' adherence to ethical standards. We released the results, and I have seen the impact, because most of head of agencies that have not done well, they reach out. Chairman, why? What are our challenges? Can you help us to see that we overcome these problems? Which is really good, because I have never thought that it will have that impact. And why? Because of you here. You have gave it wide publicity. So because of that, most of the head of agencies now, they reach out. Please, how can we do well next year? So I thank you for the assistance. And also our sexual harassment prevention program, which is tackling corruption linked to abuse of power. Last year, I know that we had engagement with the one civil society, where the ministers of the Minister of Education, then Professor Tahir Mamman, and the State Minister Yusuf Tanko Sununu, they were there. The former Minister of Affairs was there, and also over 20 commissioners of education across the country, they attended, because we discussed the challenge around the problem of sexual harassment, most especially in our tertiary institutions, because our students are victims of this challenge. So that's why ICPC has been doing its greats in that area, so that we ensure that we help our students, we protect them from sexual harassment. And I'm sure that you are aware that currently there is one of the senior academics that is facing trial at Abuja Federal High Court on this issue of sexual harassment. So, and we are determined to ensure that where there is credible evidence, any sexual harassment complaint tabled before us, we will make our efforts to ensure that we investigate it and also take the matter to court where there is evidence. Then there is our Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, ACTU, that they have been doing well in the various MDAs in order to help in ensuring that there is transparency and accountability in MDAs in this country. Then, when I came in, I tried to bring up my policy, which I call it Care for Impact, to ensure that ICPs as an agency, I consolidate the good culture of that agency, and also an agency which is unaccountable, responsible, and efficient in approaching all issues that are tabled before us. So that one too is something that I unveiled last year, and we have been using it. Now, recently, we are aware of the decision of the Supreme Court about the local government autonomy. So we have looked at the decision, and also we have been having various engagement with civil society to see how can we give our quota, how can we control our quota in ensuring that the local government autonomy operates the way it's supposed to, and also how can we follow what are happening in the local government councils. And we are trying to bring up what we call corruption prevention program for local governments, whereby we will monitor activities at all the 774 local government areas in this country. One problem we notice is that in this era of technology, there are only 7 local government areas in this country that have functional websites. So we feel that is not right. So we will now try to see how can we use technology to force the local government council to make information available to Nigerians so that Nigerians can follow what they are doing. You, also the editors and other media stakeholders, can be able to follow what are they doing so that we will monitor if there are issues, questions can be asked. We too, we can follow, because we don't have the enough manpower to go over all the 774 local government areas. But we feel technology can help us. And we know that practically, I don't think there are procurement processes in our local government councils. This is an area where we need to look at. And also, we will ensure that there are mechanisms around control of corruption, around the issue of finances of local government councils. So we will team up with the media, with the civil society, to ensure that information are available. Nigerians know what is happening, so that at least it will reduce the challenge of corruption at local government level. Last 2 weeks, we are in Gombe, myself and Ola, the chairman of the EFCC, and we discussed around the challenges at local government level. So, and we are determined to ensure that we focus there, so that Nigerians at the local level can give the dividend of democracy. And even recently, we have been facing challenges around the issue of this local government autonomy, because there is even one caretaker local government chairman whom we charged to court, because after the decision of the Supreme Court, he continued to spend government money to award contracts, despite the fact that the Supreme Court said, look, stop. And also we know how challenging this issue of local autonomy has been since 1999. But ICPs as an agency, we will ensure that by virtue of Section 387 of the Constitution, we have the power to ensure that the decision of the Supreme Court is implemented fully. And also, I'm appealing to those who are making attempts not to comply with the decision of the African Court to please desist. Because Supreme Court is the last court. Once it delivers a judgment, we must comply. That's what is rule of law. Because ICPC will continue to monitor and investigate, because any caretaker local government chairman from 11th of July 2024 who spent public funds, who award contract, that is corruption, because you don't have the mandate. And also the Apex Court has already spoken, so we must comply. Now, in my 1 year in office, there are a lot of international engagements which ICPC engage in. And in one of the engagements is that last year in September, we had an event in Beijing, China, whereby there is Global Network. Global Network is a coalition of over 200 anti-corruption agencies across the globe from 124 countries. And I had the privilege of leading ICPC delegation and Nigeria, whereby Nigeria participated in an election of steering committee member, and Nigeria was elected as one of the top steering committee member of that Global Network. And also, one area which I made mention that we have been focusing is the issue of asset recovery. Asset recovery is really area whereby we in Africa, we must focus on it, because we have seen how our own resources have been taken outside the continent, going to the global north. So that was why at the African Union level, if you may recall, in 2015, there is Thabo Mbeki high-level committee, whereby the heads of state of African countries agree that there is need for a forum of asset recovery practitioners in Africa. And the processes of bringing up the forum, it was last year that the forum was established in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and I was elected as one of the representatives of West Africa, whereby we met in Arusha, Tanzania in November, whereby I was elected as the interim chair of that forum to try to galvanize the 55 African countries and corruption agencies to ensure that we come together to see how can we help Africa to recover and repatriate stolen assets that are kept somewhere else. And we agree that, look, apart from slavery, which is our own human resources that was taken to other continents, there are a lot of stolen assets of Africa outside the shores of Africa. And we know what is happening. Whenever you want to trace and recover, the experts outside Africa will charge you huge amount of money to recover all professional fees, to recover those stolen assets. So that was why we say, no, we need to come together as Africans. Let us identify our experts within the continent. If we need somebody to trace, Nigeria doesn't have the expert. It can look for Ghana, Kenya, or any other African country. Do you have the expert? Yes. So that's why we are coming together to see that we trace, recover, and repatriate the stolen assets. Also, we'll keep on raising this issue of stolen assets at various fora, because the United Nations Convention Against Corruption has already backed the issue of stolen assets that we need to recover it. So this is an area whereby that I'm chairing now, and we are trying to see how we will make efforts to see that it has seen the light of the day. And distinguished editors, we know that corruption thrives where there is silence or in silence. But your voices are the ones that can shatter that silence. Your role in shaping public perception and holding institutions accountable cannot be overstated. The more Nigerians see what you write, what your opinion about this issue of corruption, the better for us. Because they will be enlightened, they will know what is happening, they will ask questions, and that will put us on our toes. That will minimize the challenge of corruption. Because we at ICPC, we are trying to see how can we use our mission to diminish corrupt practices through our public mobilization, our own doggedness in investigation, and also to ensure that we follow rule of law. We will be patient in investigation. No matter how long it will take, we will do it slowly but surely. We will reach our destination. And also, we at ICPC will ensure that we deepen our own relationship with you, the media. And I'm appealing to you to come to our try to understand the terrain we are working. It's not easy terrain. Whoever worked within that corruption cycle will know that it is not easy, because it is an area whereby you are fighting those who are already determined to continue to pilfer our resources. It's an area whereby those who engage in corrupt practices are really determined to peddle information that are not correct in order to try to bring controversies so that to divert the attention of the main issue. So fairness, hearing from the other side, is what will help us to discharge our mandate. And ICPC for the past 25 years has consistently maintained ensuring that there is fairness and the fair hearing, and also we do not engage in anything that will bring damage to people because of allegation against them. We will continue to ensure that we will be fair. If you ask questions, we will answer. And like I said, we are appealing to you to reason with us because of the terrain we are operating, which I know I don't need to elaborate. So that is why there is no way we will not come close to you. There is no way, because we need you, because Nigerians need to know what is happening. That will project the good image of our country. That will make foreign direct investment to come into our country. That will make our youth to have job. We know what is happening in this country. We know that a lot of youth are roaming on the streets looking for job. And the youth are the future leaders of this country. So, and it is through you, by helping us to propagate our activities and also to bring issues that will project good image of this country. By doing that, we will make Nigeria great, and also we will tackle the challenge of our corruption. And conclusively, I want to emphasize that you mean a lot to us, and that we count on you as dependable partners in ensuring that Nigeria is corrupt-free, and also I'm sure that partnering with you will continue to help ICPC to move forward, and also ICPC will continue to record achievements, and we hope that the aspiration of Section 15 of the Constitution will be realized, where Nigeria will be a country free from corrupt practices and abuse of office. Thank you so much. Money and property last year, and I even know even this year too, we recovered some amount of money and also property. Even currently, we are tracing and marking some assets in one of the states. where some people diverted public funds. Even this morning, I know that there is an amount of money which we recovered from the diversion of public funds. So we are talking about both the fixed and movable property. That's if you are talking within Nigeria. Even abroad, it is the same thing. Although during my time, ICPC did not recover any assets from taken outside the shores of Nigeria. But I know that we are collaborating with one of the African countries about money that was brought into Nigeria from that country. We are tracking and to trace the money so that we'll see how the money can be taken back to where it was brought in here. So this is what I can say. And some of the issues you raise are part of the problem. Like I said somewhere else, and I kept on saying, I will say it here. My first contact with public office is when I was Attorney General. That was when I now realized that all what I was thinking, when I came into contact with the reality, then I now realize that we Nigerians are part of the problem. One of the issues you raised about societal pressure. I'm not saying that it's a justification for any public officer to engage in corruption. But if you, I'm sure you have had one or two discussions with those who are holding public office. The kind of stress, pressure that public officers are undergoing in this country is too much. Because the family, the friends, associates expect you to give them money. And this is one of the factors that is now pushing those in public office to go into that. And I noticed that any public officer who resists, you are considered as awkward, very difficult, and they will keep on pressurizing you that if only people that are strong that can stand that pressure. And also some people too, they are even daring, will tell you, I was a victim when I was Attorney General. And I want to say it here, maybe the person who did it will hear an issue which I say, look, AG, we want you to do this thing. I say, sir, it's not even in public office, it's not even a public officer. I say, sir, I can't do this thing because my conscience will not allow me to do it. After they put pressure from different angles, okay, you are a young man. How? I don't want to destroy your career. And I say, sir, my career is not in your hand. It's in the hand of God, my Creator. And I left. What followed, it wasn't pleasant. I had to battle for more than 1 year of series of blackmail, from one blackmail to another, just because somebody wants to get money. And you can only get that money through me. And I was put under intense pressure to succumb, which I did not. What followed was I was put under serious stress. Now, the second problem is there is this theory. Whenever the corruption, if you look at it, if the benefit is high, the risk is low, people will keep on to engage. if people know that if you engage in corruption, it is really highly risky, you will lose your reputation in public. People will never consider you as somebody who has reputation in the society. People will be careful. If you know that the punishment is going to be very harsh, people will be careful. But if the risk is very low, the benefit is high, so people will continue to engage. So that is why we need to look how can we strengthen our laws to ensure that those who engage are punished seriously. And also, you, the media, you have the role to play in sensitizing Nigerians that those who are trying, please try to support them. And distinguished editors, I want to tell you that there are good people in this country. Every part of this country, there is no part of this country that I did not come across people that detest corruption, people that are serious, people that help me. I met a lot of people that are trying to see how can we help this thing, how can we fight this corruption, Chairman. But the problem is that the support from the public, sometimes people are not willing to support because they feel, you know, what you are doing is not worth it, and also because of the pressure, so people feel like, okay, let us leave you, go and do what. So this is second problem. And also, we need to see how can we fasten the judicial process, because it's law. It is not the law that is the problem, but rather some of us within the system, we try to put stumbling block in the judicial processes, bring in series of applications, truncate, so that you will see one case will take many years. Even the witness will be frustrated. You call a witness today, the matter is adjourned, and I'm not saying that it is the fault of the judges. No, it is all of us, the lawyers, and also other stakeholders, that we know if your client has an issue, as a lawyer, you know, because once you look at the facts and the proof of evidence, you'll be able to know that my client has an issue. Okay, how can we help him to face justice so that all the process of justice, the court and the system should be fair to him? But you will see that that slowing down is also another factor. That you will see somebody engage in corruption, when you take him to court, it will take many years. And before you know it, you will see another corruption case. And also another problem, especially in the public sector, I now notice, is that our public service rules also has a problem, because it has given a leeway that people engaging in corruption, there is no specific provision which provides that, look, once you are engaged in corruption, you should automatically be dismissed. But some, you will find that after ICPC are investigating an issue, it has taken somebody to court, even if you secure conviction, you will not realize that the agencies are not willing to edge out those people. They will leave them to continue working. Because I feel any public officer that is convicted, he is not supposed to continue working in public agency. He should go. If the Constitution will say that conviction of embezzlement and fraud attracts disqualification for a certain period of time, I think there is need any convict should not be allowed to work within the public service. It should just be aged out. And that is why now, as chairman of ICPC, we are now going to exploit the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal. Any public officer with secure conviction and the agency refuses to edge him out, we will send him to Code of Conduct because they have the power to edge him out. So there is another way so that we don't allow people to continue. So these and other issues are part of the problem why the problem of corruption will keep on coming and coming and coming. And also the institutions are really weak because there are a lot of vulnerabilities where people are exploiting in order to commit corrupt practices. That is why we need to focus on technology. Technology will be able to give you the thread. You will be able to know some of the things that are happening, most especially around procurement. This is an area whereby there is serious problem because of the laxity and the challenge around that. So that's why you will see that almost you will be seeing issues around procurement be raised in public sector. So this is also another factor that is bringing this issue of corruption to keep on going. And also there is an international dimension too. Because if those who are taking or stealing the humongous amount of money, they don't have a place to hide it, then it will reduce. But they know that they can wear it somewhere else. And those countries, I keep on saying, when you say that we have challenge of corruption, why are you keeping the process of crime in your country? Why can't you turn them back? This is process of crime. Please take it back to your country because there is United Nations Convention Against Corruption. And it is a global legal instrument. But you will find out that when they wear the money outside the country, there are a lot of technicalities. MLA, other things that will be frustrated because the legal mechanisms are made in such a way that it's even very, very difficult for you to recover. So if they know that they cannot take it somewhere else, I think the problem might reduce. Okay, the constituency project, like I said, we have been investigating the issue because it's a challenge that has been with us for a long period of time. And from what I noticed of why the challenge keep on coming is one of the issues you made mention. Because there was a time when member of National Assembly told me, say, Chairman, I have concern. I say, what is your concern? He said, what is your concern executive project tracking? You people are doing well. But I know why this issue will keep on coming. On that day, he was telling me the challenge he was facing. There was burial in his hometown. You need to contribute. He said, look, somebody had domestic accident. He called me. And so he kept on mentioning, he said, I'm not justifying, but the societal pressure on us is too much. That's why only those who are strong will resist. And I don't know whether that is part of the reason why we are having this challenge. And to be frank with you, we have noticed areas whereby some of them did not execute the projects. We have noticed whereby some of them, they did shoddy job. We have noticed whereby some of you noticed that, like I keep on saying, a well is supposed to be digged in one place, and somebody will just take it to his home farmland. We will see whereby street lights, instead of to be installed on the streets, somebody will put in his house. So these are challenges that are keep coming. And I know that there is one of the newspapers last year, they made a front page story that ICPC has failed to tackle this challenge. And I know that we have been doing our best, and we did a lot because we have recovered a lot. And even currently, I know that there is somebody who is facing trial. A charge will file a charge against one of the former members of National Assembly. A former member is facing trial because of diversion. And also, we know that we have been going to ensure that if you do not execute the contract, you must go and do it. I know that there is a state whereby an ambulance was diverted. We ensure that it was taken to the hospital. I know where a lot of things, and that's why the strategy is good, in the sense that let us recover the proceeds of crime and put it into use. Because if you keep on filing charges and all these things, you will spend many years in court while the actual project will not be executed. And to be fair to them, if you confront them, you show them the proof. Honorable or distinguished, this is a project you're supposed to execute, you do not. Please direct the contractor to go back to site, or contractor go back to site. They go back. And recently, those who are being used, the contractors, I have been hard on them. If you allow money to be diverted through you, we are going to charge you now. You want to refund that money because you allow yourself to be used as conduit pipe. So we have been doing that, and we have recovered a lot. And if I may say that the societal pressure, in my view, is one of the challenges, and also the weakness of the institutions. Because, to be frank, some of the heads of agencies, they allow themselves to be used in these challenges of constituency projects. Because if the head of agencies insists, once there is a contract awarded, that contract must be executed to the latter. Or you insist that you are not going to allow anything to be inserted in your budget, which is not out of your mandate. So if we will do that, then this thing will minimize. But if the head of agencies allow themselves to be used, then this thing will keep on happening. And ICPC, all anti-corruption agencies, we don't have the capacity to follow all the projects. That's why you, as the media, you can expose. The public too, they need to follow their project, all your projects. If there's a project which is supposed to be done in your constituency or in your sector district, it was not done, raise it. And I don't think there is any public officer that you confront him with evidence that this amount of money was appropriated for a particular project and you don't execute, please go back and execute. You will not say, no, I'm not going to do that. I hope I have answered. We are doing it in such a way that we don't disrupt the financial system. So we do it in such a way that we don't allow you to continue with illegality and committing crime, so that we will save the banking system and also the public sector fund. Then on issue of Dubai, like you made mention, in my speech I made mention of proceeds of crime. And I alluded to the fact that the international legal regimes, the various laws of countries are the problem. Because for me, I kept on saying in various fora of anti-corruption that look, if somebody steals our money and take it to your own country and you keep it, why are you telling me that we should come together and fight corruption? Why? Because you know, because your own, there is no your money in my country. So that's why you are saying we should join hands. Why I have traced and point out to you, this is the public funds taken to your own country. Why can't you give us our own? But because of the legal regimes, sometimes it's tedious, it takes a lot of time, and there are a lot of, it's not even law alone, there are politics, there are diplomacy, so it is something which is even outside the realm of anti-corruption agencies alone, because you need a lot of stakeholders. I know recently there are countries that I am the one who have been following that, look, let us sign an MOU with you, because we have noticed our funds are being taken to your own countries. And they agree. There are some 1 or 2 countries that I know that we are about to complete signing an MOU because of what we have noticed.
Also here, as a media owner, I here with my team, we have a radio station and also a television station. I want to commend your efforts. For you to meet with the media shows you are transparent. It shows you are accountable. I don't have any question to ask you because I'm part of the team. It is not cheap to fight corruption. It's very, very expensive. Fighting corruption is also very, very complex. It's not as easy as we used to say it. It is only the person that is wearing the shoe that will know where it pitches. So I commend your efforts and I pray for more grace that God should color your efforts. Everything is in your favor, the age, the energy, you have the capacity, and you have the right team to help you to drive it. You have the right team to drive it. Finally, you have this advice, you can't do it alone. You need to also rely on the outside team to help you to drive your dreams, your plans and goals, especially in the area of the media. I suggest maybe you could have something like a strategic media public enlightenment committee. Comprises, of course, the media team as well, stakeholders. You have a committee who also help you spread your good news. Also help you spread your good news either in the public sector, in the private sectors, and all that. Because if you say you want to work with media like you would like to work to, it's very, very expensive. But when you have the committees, selected committee, media team, editors, and also for the private sector and public sector, they will help you to achieve your dreams and goals. So you have our support, and like I said, God will color your efforts. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Angry ones and the pastors. Let me just add to your to-do list. I had 2 questions written down, but after Ikechukwu gave his lecture, I decided to calm down. You talked about, before I round up, and thank you for coming, judges advising you to go settle out of court. The biggest problem, one of the biggest problems with corruption in Nigeria are those judges. Recently, I think it was the Chief Justice of Nigeria who said election cases constitute about 70 or 80% of the cases they have in their docket, which suggests that election cases are very lucrative for them. So you have to put your searchlight on the judiciary. Then number 2, your constituency, the legal profession. Please, MBA has, from all accounts, a vibrant lawyer, Afam Osigwe. Engage him, collaborate with him. MBA too has to deliver. Plea bargaining takes place and judges advise you to go settle out of court is because the judges too are corrupt. The appointment and promotion mechanism on the bench is also corrupt. Search the NJC. Today, the type of, what's the word now? Corruption in terms of judicial promotion in Abuja is huge and impacts on the quality of judgment delivered. So, Mr. Chairman, the biggest thing you have done is to come here to show transparency. You said corruption thrives when there's. I also say this, I'll add to that corruption thrives when there's darkness, when it's hidden. So you're coming out here suggests that you really want to fight corruption in partnership with my colleagues. And it's a brilliant thing you have done. I know you met some of my colleagues in Abuja, and that's why the Secretary of the Guild and the Deputy President of the Guild are here. You have to continue, because if you want to work with the media, honestly, the way you have shown, the media will work with you, and Nigeria will be better for it. Thank you for coming.
And I will do my best to discharge my duty to the best of my ability, together with the officers of the ICPC. That is why, if people are raising the issue of bias, the issue of all this lie, you cannot prevent people from raising those kind of issues. But one thing I know, that if I satisfy my conscience, I'll go to sleep. And like I said, there is somewhere else that we are going to account somewhere. And that is why I try as much as possible to be fair in what I'm doing. And also God knows what I'm doing, and also know my ability, because the anti-corruption is a very complex and difficult thing. Sometimes getting evidence, getting things is difficult. Even if you're investigating issues, somebody will look like you are targeting somebody, or you have a motive, or this thing. So on my own part, I will do my best, and also posterity will judge, because that's the only thing I can say. On the other issue, which like the president said, that the lecture you gave us, and some of the things you raised, I quite agree with you that those are the challenges, and we need to work on them. And in my view, that is why the Constitution is structured in such a way that the Chapter 2, it is left in such a way that is you, the leader, that you strive to ensure that Chapter 2 is realizable. You attain that aspiration: education, healthcare, good environment, all other social amenities. You as a leader, you must think outside the box to ensure that you reduce the poverty level, which I agree with you. The level of poverty is really high, and we need to tackle it, because without tackling the poverty, we will continue to face this challenge of corruption that keeps on coming. And also, we are not justifying or depending the public office holders or the politicians, like you said, that we are saying that there is societal pressure. Like you said, it's a fact. We can't deny it. Myself as ICPC chairman, if I show you the number of text messages people are sending to me every day, you'll be shocked. In fact, I am even thinking that some of them have even forgotten that I am the ICPC chairman. Maybe they are thinking that I am chairman of one local government or a state governor, because they will keep on sending. So, and also they will keep on calling, because the number of calls are such that they are unbearable. And we are part of the society. Even if we deny, there is such a thing that even if you deny, it's a reality. And I agree that poverty is one of the factors, but also we have to keep on telling people that they need to consider public holders. And also, we, the public office holders, also, we need to live a simple life. Because some of us, the way we are living a very larger life, that's why people will keep on pressurizing you. But unfortunately, it is also us, the Nigerians, that are pushing people. Like that member I started the example, he told me that my constituents were telling me that, look at this man. He has finished house order, he has an old car. Up to now. So people are even looking at you, there are certain things that even if you exhibit as a public officer, people will look at you that is strange. So why? Because it is the society that are pushing people to adopt a life that will put you in trouble. And once you resist, like I said, they will say you are awkward, you are difficult, you know, all these things. And we are all human beings. And that is why we need that support from you, the media, in your own writings, articles, and opinions, and also the public too. They need to support public officers that are transparent, that try to live within their means and within the ambit of the law. But without that, you will find one or two people that because of that they will derail. Because of that prejudice. That's why always I will raise this issue of prejudice. Last week when I was in Gombe, and I told the chairman, don't allow anybody to put pressure on you to dip your hand in public POS. Let them say whatever they want to say. Because one day you are going to leave. It's better for you to leave, you go home and sleep well, than for you to leave and something to follow up which will not be nice.
My name is Muiba Wonu Folami, an indigenous of Lagos State, Ikorodu, to be specific. I was born in Lagos 86 years ago, and to the glory of God, I'm still alive and well, and trying to be a relative in the cause of women. I attended primary school. I started at Ansarudin Alakuru School. From there to CMS Girls School, and then Queen's College, Lagos. From Queen's College, I went to the Portsmouth College of Technology for my A-levels, and then University of London for my first degree in law. The same university for my master's degree in law. I had, between obtaining my master's and my first degree, I was in Nigeria to do the mandatory law school course. I was one of the last people to do a 3-month course before it was changed to 1 year. And then went back to England for my master's. And from there to lecture at the University of Zambia. Back to Nigeria, I was appointed by Dr. Taslim Elias, the CJ of Nigeria, to the Commission for Advance Notice to Lawyers of Developments in Law. It was a commission funded by the Ford Foundation to keep lawyers abreast of the developments in law. I was a director there. Then from there, I was admitted to the Federal Ministry of Justice. After being legal advisor to many ministries, I ended up as the Director of Public Prosecutions for the Federation. And after that, whilst I was the Director of DPP, I was appointed Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State. After retirement, I've been involved in social work, in religion. I've always had religion, but I spend more time on religion. I read, I watch telly, and I live a good life to the glory of God. You see, when you begin to think that it was not until 2007 that women started to get equal pay in tennis tournaments. And it was something that was fought for. Little things like that does not add to equality. But when it was done, it may be small, but at work, even at work in employment, women are still discriminated against. And most women do 2 jobs. They look after the home, and they do the normal work that a man does in an office. Why I fail to understand this inequality in the treatment of women is that the work, the responsibilities in the workplace is not reduced for women, even though we do not want to be paid the same salary as men. It's a fight that has continued, and in that area, I think we need to do more to push for more recognition. Women have contributed immensely to the society. The men that are now resisting equal pay were brought up by women. Exactly. That's what I do not understand, that they can think like that. We continue to push.
But how can we speed this up?
By bringing it to the attention of world powers, recognition by every country of equal opportunities, equal pay. I want to know, I want somebody to explain to me the jobs that women cannot do.
Yeah.
They've contributed immensely. Even in the new thing, IT, we're at par with men. So I do not see the reason for it. Unfortunately, I did not experience it. Because when I left university, I practiced law briefly in my uncle's chambers before I went to University of Zambia as a lecturer. There, my position was enhanced in the sense that I was a foreigner and I got all the benefits of being a foreigner, serving in their service. Fortunately, in Nigeria today, the federal government does not discriminate in terms of salaries. Whether you're a man or a woman, you get the same salary scale. And